What's happening, y'all? What is going on? A lot going on right now. A lot of crazy ass stuff going on right now. What is going on? How is everybody today? Let's see who's here. What's up, Alan? What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike? Thought I was on vacation? Not yet. It's close. It's close. So close. Dude, one more day. I got this stream. I got work tomorrow. Then I got one more stream, the stream over on this space. And then I'm on vacation. I'll probably still stream on Saturday because I'll still be at the house on Saturday. But then during the week, next week, probably going to have the interview that I taped a long time ago air on Wednesday. So that way there's still something popping up on the feed. What's going on? What's going on, guys? What's up, Tammy? What's going on, Tammy? Oh, we got Squirrel the Troll. What's up, Squirrel the Troll? He's not a very good troll, though, guys. He's like bottom tier troll. Like 2 out of 10. What up, Progressively? What up, Troy Scott? Troy Scott, 8 of 10 troll. 8 of 10, my buddy. Gulf Marine, what's happening? Wildflower, what's happening? Gray Pill, what's up, Gray Pill? What's up, Gray Pill? Bucket, what's up, Bucket? Genie, what's up? Yeah, Booty, I know. That's 2 of 10, brother. 2 of 10. Okay. Macho, Flare, Drip. Over on Twitch. Isn't even a 2. Fuck, man. You just demoted to a 1. I like Squirrel better. Squirrel. I knew a couple Mexican dudes growing up that we called Squirrel. I don't miss you. What the fuck? Why would I miss you? I know it's Pride Month and shit, but nah, dog. Solid try, though. Anton, what's happening, Anton? Penis like squirrel. I once saw my buddy. He said he kept getting up to pee. He kept getting it to pee all the time. And he goes, man, I got a bladder like a thimble. And I was like, a penis to match. Oh man, tomorrow on this space they're gonna get to know the Angry Ginger, guys. How well do you think that's gonna go? How long until this space decides that this is not a space for the Angry Ginger? I won't hate them if they do. I like all those people over there. I really enjoy. I watched the first couple days. I watched the first. Here, let's pop over there real quick. Wait, that's Big Me already. It's Big Me already. Push the wrong button. Let's see what's popping over on this space right now. Look at that, pop up right up top. Oh, it looks like they're in between. The Rational National is next, guys. This space.
I mean,
everything I say sounds like
leaders,
this
especially
space, right?
Prime Minister Mark Carney, to act in line with the message of his own book. In it, he argues that we must place human dignity. So check it out, you guys. This is what streams on here.
Like it's first of all, it's hilarious.
There's Rational National. Rational National.
No one knows what the hell's going on.
That's a mouthful right there. You got Mike over there. You got Matt Binder on there.
The window, and they're like,
you got Andrea.
You know, are they coming for me? Well, they might be very soon.
You got Andrea.
People that in the newsroom.
And then after all of these guys, I'm the closer, guys. I'm the closer. They bring me in to close it all out. Thursday night, they put me on the last possible spot because they knew. I'm like Dennis Eckersley, guys. I come in at the very end and close the game out on Thursday night. So tomorrow, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Which, again, is not
we're going to be
enough.
On this space.
Let me just quickly give you an overview or a bird's eye view of.
And then I think next Thursday, because I am on vacation, they're going to have me. They're going to have some of my interviews being played. So That's pretty dope. But yeah, so just so you guys know, there is we got this space. They got a good amount of people already. 500 people subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to this space. Going to be a cool community to hang out with over there. Talk to people. Pinkerbell, you were just over there? Good job, Pinkerbell. Michael, what's up, Michael? What's up, man? You saw some of yesterday's stream golf? Nice. Don Cron, what's up, Don Cron? I haven't seen you. Speaking of people I miss, okay? Speaking of people I missed. I did miss Don Cron. I don't know about Booty. Fucking squirrel. Macho Flare Drip, why did you laugh when you read my username? I wasn't laughing. I was laughing because you're over on Twitch. We don't get a lot of people over on Twitch. We got 25,000 subscribers on YouTube. Anytime we get somebody on Twitch, it's usually a bot. So, more or less, you see, the thing about me, Macho, I'm going to just call you Macho because I like that. So, we're going to call you Macho. Look, Macho, I see shit in my head. Okay? Mostly just like people, dead people. But I see things and it makes me laugh. And what I saw was a person over on Twitch in a cavern with like 2 bots spamming me, trying to ask me if I need more viewers. That's what I saw, Macho, and it made me chuckle. It's what happens. Genie, what's happening? Last Space is the headliner? Goddamn right it is, Genie. Goddamn right it is. All right. Like Randy Orton here voices. President Camacho! Golf. You might have to change your name to Camacho Man Flare Drip. Just for 2025. Just to make it real. Just to make it real. Stay hydrated, guys. Stay hydrated. What should we do on this space tomorrow? Well, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same damn thing. We're going to do the same damn thing. We're going to do the same thing we do every day. We're going to get on here. We're going to watch videos. We're going to make fun of people. We're going to laugh. We're going to analyze all this bullshit that's going down. We're going to talk about all the craziness because there's always something to talk about. That's what we're going to do on this space. Look, guys, just because I'm blowing up, all right, and I've been invited to be in the same space as Matt the Letter Hack and Mike Figueredo, okay? He's going to probably get a hold of me and be like, you don't know how to say my goddamn name, Ginger. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm from the trailer park. I pronounce all the letters in different ways. But just because I'm blowing up, guys, doesn't mean I'm going to change. I'll be the same guy. Still wearing flippy floppies. Currently wearing flippy floppies right now. As my kid said the other day, why are you dressed like Adam Sandler? Like, she low-key thought that was a burn. That's not a burn. Adam Sandler's a good person. He's a dope dude. And yes, I am wearing basketball shorts, a big shirt, and some flip-flops with a scruffy beard. But you know what? That's a compliment to me. I'm not changing, guys. I'm not changing. All right? Oh. All right. Definitely talk about the LA riots. Alan, actually, I would call it there's with some rioting. Good job, Alan. Way to follow that up. We will talk about the LA protests that do have some rioting going on there because I'm not with the left where it is like diminish like what's going on there because I'm actually like, look, you can follow the letter of the law and you can be a law and order person and you can support good cops, but if you don't call out bad cops, you're a bootlicker. I ain't no fucking bootlicker. All right? At the end of the day, my uncle's a captain of CHP, dope human being, really enjoying one of the most positive influences that I had in a world full of non-positive influences. But there's a lot of videos out there right now of some shitty fucking cops. Some assholes. That asshole cop that shot that reporter in the leg. Fuck that dude. Fuck him. I hope he gets Ebola in his dick. You know, like the left needs to learn something. Some protests should be peaceful, and some protests shouldn't be. I said that shit. Some protests shouldn't be. You know why? Because you can't fucking high ground your way out of authoritarianism. You can't high ground your way out of tyranny. At one point or another, you got to ask yourself, like, what's your line, and when does it come to that moment? Because I'll be honest with you, I come from a place where physical violence is never off the fucking table. We grew up knowing a motherfucker push me, getting punched in the mouth. I don't push back, I punch. You push me, you get punched. Like, that's what happens. Shit, I'm bringing mace. You mace me, I mace you back. Like, I got a lot of respect for the law enforcement that comes from my family because they're good people, but I got a lot of disrespect for bad fucking cops, all right? So look, down in Los Angeles where, you know, I got people I call family down there, they're trying to protect fucking their family. They're trying to keep their people from being snatched off the street. And guess what? Every fucking once in a while, that means you got to chest up and put your fucking hands on somebody. That's the way that works. And I know that the left doesn't talk like that. I know that the left is scared to say things like, they always want to be like, it's a peaceful protest, it's a peaceful... Fuck that. Shouldn't be peaceful. You put hands on my wife. Put hands on my wife and watch what the fuck happens to you. There ain't gonna be a fucking person in the world able to fucking left-splain away that violence, okay? Because they're gonna be like, no, he definitely beat the shit out of that dude. Yet that he maced him, then he kicked him in the nuts, then he kneed him right in the fucking nose. Because some protests shouldn't be peaceful. Fuck that. That's how I stand. That's how I fucking stand. Fuck that shit. There's good cops and there's shitty cops. There's times for peace, and there's times to tell people, nope, I'm not going to let you fucking trot on me. I'm not going to let you put your boot on my neck. My whole fucking family's military, man. There's a reason they joined the military. They didn't join the military so that way orange fucking clowns can be tyrants. They didn't join the military so that way an authoritarian government can be established while people like hang back and just kind of go like, okay, well, it seems really bad. It seems bad. But we're not going to do anything because we don't want to be seen as the bad people. You got to stand up sometimes, man. You got to say this shit ain't right. And the right thing to do is to do it peacefully. That is the right thing to do. It is, when you have the ability to use your voice, you should use it. And you should use it peacefully. But look at what some of them cops are doing, man. They shot that girl in the chest with a bullet for trying to go home to her fucking apartment, dude. Like, that's not okay. Somebody has to call that shit out. That's not okay. People have to be willing to stand their ground and say it's not okay. I'm all for peaceful protesting when it's appropriate. But if they're going to silence your voice, you can't peacefully protest. They're going to tell you they can wear masks, but you can't wear masks. That's authoritarianism. If people are going to shoot you in the chest with fucking rubber bullets to stop you from being able to go to your home, that's authoritarianism. And you can't peacefully protest all the time your way out of it. Sometimes you got to make sure that motherfucker hears your voice. And sometimes the only way to get people to see you is by making fucking noise. So, I don't know. I know you guys don't all agree with me, and that's okay. I like that. I like that you guys don't all agree with me. Like I said, I'm not up here to agree with everybody, right? We're going to disagree. Why are they holding foreign flags? Because they are proud of their ethnicity or culture. Yeah, it's a crazy one to me. Like, that makes no sense to me when people say, like, why are they waving Mexican flags? Because they Mexican, motherfucker. Like, I wear a shirt that says Irish across it. Am I from Ireland? No. It's got Irish flag on it. It's because they're proud of their heritage. It's because they're proud of being Mexican. Fuck you mean, why do they wave Mexican flags? That's like one of the dumbest fucking arguments I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Why do they wave Mexican flags? Because Mexicans are getting deported. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Well, that's just going to make the conservatives more mad. I mean, conservatives already think they hate America and are criminals and stuff. Yeah, sometimes, you know. My whole point of view is that conservatives say things about the left because they're scared of the left being them. They're scared of the left. They're scared of the civil rights left. They're scared of the 60s left. They're scared of the Stonewall LGBT. And so what they do is they shame you into silence. They say, you should be critical of those things because you're supposed to be the tolerant left. You're not supposed to get mad because you're the tolerant left, remember? Because they're afraid of you being mad. They literally say this shit to you guys. The Mexican flag thing. They don't want these guys being proud of their culture. They don't want these guys waving Mexican flags. So they're going to call it out and they're going to be like, why are they waving Mexican flags if they're Americans, lefties? You should be calling them out for that. I'm not calling them out for it, man. I'm not calling them out for it. I'm saying wave your flag. Be fucking proud. Be who you are. Be proud of you. And you can be proud to be a Mexican and be proud to be an American at the same fucking time. You can be proud to be gay and proud to be an American and be proud to be Mexican all at the same fucking time. Stop letting these right-wing conservatives call you out and make you feel bad. Because they're gonna do what they're doing to you right fucking now. They're gonna put their boot on your neck. And then they're going to, as they're squeezing the fucking life out of you, they're going to look down at you and go, I thought you were the tolerant left. Stop fighting back. Stop fighting back. Why are you trying to push my boot off your neck? You're the tolerant left. You're not supposed to do that. If you push my boot off your neck, then you're not peacefully protesting. You're violent. Well, I ain't part of the tolerant left. I told you guys, I ain't joining this political party. I said, I am who I am. I think what I think. And it don't have any attachments to anybody's party. You put your boot on my neck, I'm going to fuck you up. Alright, guys. Let's watch some videos. Peaceful protests don't work because they are peaceful. The people in power don't feel threatened. Exactly, Michael. They aren't motivated to change. What's up, Nathan? What's going on? What's up, Dan? What's going on, Dan? You gotta do what you gotta do, man. What's up, LB? What's going on, LB? What's up, Mod? What's going on, Mod? And like I said, not everybody's gonna agree with me. That's okay. That's what it's about. That's why I said we're not a cult. You can say to me, I don't think that's the way. You can say, man, I'm gonna be the person that peacefully protests. Good for you. Good on you. You should do things your way. You should 100% do things your way. And I should do things mine. Because it takes all of us. It takes different people. It takes good speakers. It takes Martin Luther King, right? Standing up there and giving the fucking speeches. But it also takes Malcolm X. And those who know. All right, guys. Let's, Bucket, yeah. Conservatives attacking Simone Biles, yeah. Dude. I'm all about California becoming its own country now. I'm all about it. I have a whole podcast about how California shouldn't Cal-Exit. A whole goddamn podcast, and Donald Trump fucking ruined it. I said, California, you can't fix a marriage from outside the marriage. You got to do it from within. So California should stay. And now, after all this bullshit, I'm like, whatever. Fucking, let's build a wall between us and the rest of these fucking people. We'll create like a tunnel system to like New York. We can keep Oregon, well, most of Western Oregon, nothing on the east side near Idaho. Washington. We'll just join up with Canada. I'm down with joining with Canada too. I'm totally down with that. 21st century suffragettes in the house. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. California California should just secede. What up, 21st century? What's going on? No, that would be terrible for all 50 states, given that we generate a lot of tax revenue for us. We need their tax revenue, and their GDP is really high. Oh, yeah, 100%. California. When I looked into it, so this guy, he's from CalExit, and he said, hey, man, can you guys do a podcast on CalExit? Now, he did it thinking I was going to agree with him. And I told him, I said, I don't know, man. I've never thought about California seceding, so I'll look at it, but I can't tell you that I'm going to be on your side. And he said, just do it anyways. And my first question was, could California secede, right? Like what would it take for California to be able to do it? And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, California could. California definitely could sustain itself. California definitely has all of the resources necessary. Water would be needed from outside of the state. There's some things that we definitely have to import, but that would just happen through trade. And in the end, like I said, no, I don't think that California should secede, which really hurt his feelings. But, or at least the people that were in his group, they weren't real happy with me. I don't know if he was that mad at me, but his people weren't happy. And, like every time you hear about Texas seceding, you hear about California seceding. At this point, it's like, let's break up the band. I don't want Donald Trump to be my lead. I don't want to be my representative. I'm not down. I say let's break up the band. Let's fucking make a go at it. Let's see what it's like to be single. That's all I'm saying, guys. Dude, strip clubs in Montreal are awesome. I didn't know that, but we could find out. We'll test that theory. We could test it out. Dude, I like how people call me a communist, period, considering that I've shit on communism before. Like I said before, every government has good things and bad things about it, but there are certain things about communism that we have seen in play that do not seem to work out so well. Like I said, I'm open to a debate on all that stuff. I'm more of a democratic socialist, I think is like the closest you could bring me to like, if you were to like pin me down and make me like claim a political ideology, it'd probably be democratic socialism. I believe in working within a system, which is what we're going to get to when we talk about Gavin Newsom in a second. So we got the Humanist Report today. Of course, threatening violence against Americans who protest his military parade because he's got a little dick. Okay, so that's why that's that way. Okay, we got the IHIP ladies talking about the trade deal that Trump once again buckled and gave in on. But you know the crazy thing about all this is it doesn't matter what reality is. Whatever Donald Trump says, his people believe it. It's fucking nuts. It's nuts to watch. We got Kyle Kulinski, or as Troy calls him, Uncle Kyle. Gavin Newsom is out of fucks to give. That's the one we're going to start the show with, because I want to talk about that. We got RFK Jr., of course, after he told that Republican senator that he would not touch the board of vaccines scientists. He fired every single one of them because these people are fucking liars. We got Hank from Hank's channel. I don't watch any Hank's channel on here, but I'll tell you this right now. Hank is one of my favorite fucking YouTubers. He's up there with Legia. Him and Legia are vying for number one. And he's got a video called Why I'm So Mad Right Now, which just spoke to my soul. All right? It just like, I was like, that is definitely who I am right now. I need to make a video that just says, why am I so mad right now? And then we also have a video from Adam Mockler, but he's been having this Chris Mowry guy on his show. I'm gonna be honest, Adam, if you hear me, buddy, I don't want to hate on Chris, but I miss you, Adam. Like, I'd rather see Adam. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry, but anyways, this seems like a good video because this is about New York Times exposing new YouTube content moderation policies, which of course is pretty important to what we do here. So that's the lineup. We're going to try and get to as many of these as possible. Mountain Bike, did I say hi? What's up, Mountain Bike? Macho says, I really love Kyle. I'm a progressive, but a YouTuber. I stopped watching the Majority Report after one of the journalists there laughed at a woman who got injured by a... Yeah, I don't know how that finishes because Twitch doesn't have enough letters. Kyle is more progressive than me. Kyle and Mike from the Humanist Report, I will 100% say are more progressive than me. I'm a very progressive individual, but I'd say both of those guys are much more progressive than I am. They would own me in a progressive off. Chris is all right. He's all right. He's all right. I'm just saying. I like Adam. Michael says, part of the problem is looking at what's best for the planet through the lens of dollars and cents. Fucking money and the cost of things is why we don't have nice things. Exactly. Can't breathe money. Can't breathe money. Can't breathe money. We can find that out. I was just saying the other day, you know, even when it comes to art, like, I know AI is a very contentious subject, and I agree with a lot of you guys on, like, where we're at now with AI and music and art and it taking from artists. But I was saying this to my kid the other night because she's an artist. She has friends that are artists. She's a musician as well. She hates AI. And I said, but it really comes down to the root of one thing. And that is that AI takes out of your mouth. AI steals money from people. And that's a problem. Like, we wouldn't really give two shits about whether or not AI used some of our music if it wasn't for the financial link to it, right? Because really, the really important part about our music and our art is about sharing it with other people. Like, that's what matters. That's what really, like the best times in your life are sharing what you love and what you enjoy with other people, whether it be in person or on forums and stuff like that. But I prefer it in person, right? And it just feels like if you were to take away the monetary portion of the music industry and art and all in the movie industry and all these things, and you just had things that people created because they love to create them, which is my argument against people that say UBI doesn't work, that people would just get lazy. People create art and do things because they like to do them. It just means people would do more things that they enjoy doing, which would not be a bad thing. But I'm with you, Michael, because it's like everything we look at is through this lens of money. And when you're an artist and you think that AI is stealing from you, which it is, you know, it's not that it's showing your art to other people. It's that it's taking money out of your pocket, which makes it hard for you, especially as an artist. Most artists are not wealthy, to live, to survive. And it's like, if we could get to a point in our society where we had socialistic policies like UBI, then things like AI wouldn't be so scary for musicians, so scary for artists, because you would just be like, who the fuck cares about that? That's just a robot making that shit. This is a person. This is a person that sells themselves. I tell my authors that I interview, I say all the time, I go, I know you want to talk about your book, but I want to talk about you. Because they're not going to buy your book for your book. They're going to buy your book for you because you're interesting. Because you make it happen. That's what makes it happen. Do you think it's fair to see Luigi Mangione as the left's version of Kyle Rittenhouse? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, the left's. That's a bit of a loaded statement. I'd have a little bit of a hard time just saying that. I'd have a little bit of a hard time saying that. That's a good question though, Macho, and I'll think about that. I don't like responding to certain things really quickly because I think that they deserve a lot more thought. I think that question deserves a lot more thought than me just responding to it. Sometimes I talk shit, and sometimes I like to think about stuff. So this time I'm gonna say, give me some time to think about that and bring it back up, and let's see if I have a better answer for you. Let's start off with Kyle Kulinski. Gavin Newsome is out of fucks to give. My wife asked me the other night, maybe last night even, why I'm not big on Gavin Newsome running for president. And that's a good question, and you should be challenged on these things. You should be challenged, because most of the time when you ask somebody why they think somebody is a good presidential candidate or why they're a bad presidential candidate. They don't have an answer. Usually it's like, it's vibes. They just don't like them. They just don't like them. Most people, when you ask them why they don't like Gavin Newsom, he's fucking woke. You know, like, they don't have a real reason for why they don't like him. He just pisses them off. They don't like the way he looks. They don't like the way he acts. They say he's driven California into the ocean, like, but they can't tell you how. So I was like, that's actually a really good question. I should have to answer that. And I said, what I don't like about Newsom is Newsom reminds me of what disappointed me about Obama. I still love Obama. I think Obama was still a very good president, but I think he had some big flaws, and I think he made some huge mistakes. And to be honest with you, I think that the next president of the United States that's on the left should come in with some fucking fire. I think that Donald Trump was a reaction to Barack Obama on the right, and I think the next president from the left should be a reaction to Donald Trump. And I think that the next president that is a Democrat that comes into office should force single-payer universal health care through the hole. Fuck Republicans, get it done. I think that the next Democrat that walks into the office should, institute UBI. Once again, do what Trump did. Sign a flurry of executive orders. Watch how slow our our courts work. And do what the fuck you want until they catch up to you. If they do it, you should do it. And I'm not sure that Gavin Newsom's that person. You know, I saw Gavin Newsom reaching across to Charlie Kirk. I saw Gavin Newsom trying to heal the divide by bringing on Steve Bannon. I saw Gavin Newsom trying to play the reach across the aisle by going out to homeless camps and dismantling them to show how not woke he was. And I didn't like that shit. And I think that Gavin Newsom will play with corporate interests just like I saw Barack Obama did. You know, I think that Gavin Newsom will, he'll open the door for tech interests just like Barack Obama did. And that doesn't mean I don't like Newsom. It means that I'd rather see a more progressive candidate in office that won't waffle and will get shit done, man. But this is what I'm going to say. And I said this to my wife. Donald Trump is setting up Gavin Newsom to win the presidency in 2028. 100% he is. Because if this attack on California continues to go the route it's going right now, and Gavin Newsom weathers this storm and stands up and stays strong as a leader through this, he's practically handing the fucking presidency to Gavin Newsom in 2028. Because people are tired of Trump shit, man. Somebody in my family that's a Trump supporter that has been 10 toes down for Trump up to this point today said that Trump's an idiot, that Trump's acting like Hitler with the way he's deporting the Mexicans. Like, that's big, man. That's big. When you have Trump supporters actually upset with the way that Donald Trump is going through deporting people, that's big. And so I think that if Gavin Newsom weathers this storm, there's a pretty good chance he is the president of the United States in 2028. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. So let's see. Let's get it going. Let's see. Let's get it going. Let's watch Kyle Kulinski talk about Gavin Newsom being out of fucks to give.
To my surprise, y'all, Gavin Newsom has been laser focused on Trump's overreach and abuses and authoritarianism in the wake of the protests in LA, and then Trump federalizing the National Guard, and then Trump sending the Marines in and then sending more Marines in. I mean, this is all, and by the way, this is all laid out in Project 2025. They want to do the Insurrection Act, do martial law, basically make this country a police state, ban free speech, ban free protest. And this is...
For all the people that were like, Project 2020, what was Anna Kasparian? He doesn't know anything about it. Anna Kasparian, somebody needs to, well, I guess somebody already has been dragging her ass, right? Like, she's already been drugged. That girl over there, Emma Vigilant, right? She already drug her ass. I know multiple people have, but you can't, like, don't stop dragging her ass over that shit. Oh, he didn't know about Project 2025. Dude, these people, this is the shit. This is what I'm saying to you guys. When I say that the right says things to you to get you to stop talking about them because they're afraid that you're talking about them, that's what I mean. Is the right says to you, he doesn't know anything about Project 2025. Not because they believe that shit, but because they don't want you to believe what you're saying. They want you to question it. They know that you'll think about it. They know that you'll self-analyze. They know that you'll criticize people in your own party for saying something if they don't completely know it's true. Like, they don't want you talking about Project 2025. They don't want you talking about the fact that these people are actually following through with this shit. They're going to call you a conspiracy theorist. They're going to say he doesn't know anything about it. But you can prove it. Just fucking open the goddamn book and point to the relevant fucking paragraph.
The canary in the coal mine. This is like instance number one where they're going to do it. And then
the Vanguard
they plan
too.
on doing more illegal Vanguard ICE too. Raids with masked thugs going after innocent people in every major Democratic city. Then that'll lead to protests. Then that'll lead to Trump deploying more U.S. military in U.S. streets. And we are off to the fucking races. And so, to my surprise, Gavin has been laser focused on this and just going hard in the paint at the right. And you love to see it. So we got quite a few examples of that here. Let's start. This interview came...
One of my favorites, if you guys have never seen that video of Trump meeting Newsome at the airport after the LA fires, and there's this picture of Newsome shaking Trump's hand and sticking his finger in Trump's chest at the same time. And I was like, uh-oh, that goes one way or another. Like, Trump sees that picture, you're his enemy for life, right? Like, you're his enemy for life. So that either goes one way or another. That is either Newsome's got the balls to follow up with this shit, or he's going to get torched. And I think Newsome does have the balls to follow up for it. Like I said, I'm concerned about his corporate interests.
Came out, I believe it was right when we learned that Trump is sending or federalizing the National Guard, and this may have been either immediately after or just before he sent in the Marines. So here we go. Let's listen to what he says.
I'm inside the Emergency Operations Center run by the County of Los Angeles here with Governor Gavin Newsom. Governor, thanks for joining us live on MSNBC.
Good to be with you.
So this is, as I said, the Emergency Operations Center. I wonder how you would characterize the events that are unfolding in Los Angeles right now. Is it an emergency? Is it Fox News is calling it the LA riots? Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, I started off this video by saying that not all protests should be peaceful. But they're 100% over-exaggerating how widespread this is. Now, it could be pretty widespread soon. I just saw that Detroit has them now. Chicago has some now. And I'm super proud of those fucking people. I'm proud as fuck that those people are standing up to these ICE agents and saying, nah, you ain't doing this. I'm like, those people need your support, so keep supporting them. But, like, to act like Los Angeles is on fire, you know you full of shit, dude. If you ever been to Los Angeles, you know the places these are at. You know that this is not some kind of gigantic ass fucking riot going on. It's not even close. It's not even close.
And we've seen.
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Sorry to interrupt you, but Governor, so that's news. If you're going to sue the administration, tell me a little bit about it. Give us a preview of this lawsuit.
Well, under his executive order, it specifically notes, and under what the DOD did, is they had to coordinate with the governor of the state. They never coordinate with the governor of the state.
And that's all good. I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind making the attempts at doing this the right way, but at one point or another you got to say to yourself, like, are we gonna follow the rules while they don't, or are we gonna put our foot down and say fuck that shit? Like, you want to play this way, then we play this way. That's 100%. Troy says the Marines aren't on the ground yet from what I hear, but I hear they're getting ready. The Marines being there at all is crazy. Absolutely bullshit. Like, the idea that the Marines are in an American city right now, like, that's fucking insane, man. Look, like I said, when I think about police officers and the lack of training they have, the type of people that seek out the job, I've seen before that there's statistics that say that it's more likely that a police officer will kill a civilian than a military person will kill somebody on their own soil, right? So I still have belief in the Marines, but they shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be there. Like, this is like the type of thing that can't be understated. People should, if you're not looking at the Marines being deployed in the United States of America against American citizens as being a bad thing, then you're either fucking stupid or you're drinking the Kool-Aid. You're brainwashed. Because there should never, ever be a time where our military is in one of the states in our country and they are policing our people. That's bad. Like I said, as much as I actually think the military is less trigger happy than the police are, it still sets a precedent that should not be set. Like, we can talk about what needs to happen with police officers when they cross those lines. But if we get to a point where we're forgiving our military for doing things to our civilians, we've lost the fucking plot, man. Like, that's the end of times right there for America. You can't do that. You can't cross that line, and that's what I'm saying. So we can play this peaceful bullshit. We can play by the rules. We can sue the administration, all of those things. And you know what? If we see some type of forward movement with that, then good things. Good things. I like to see that. That's the best possible route we can take. But if it doesn't work and we start seeing the military deployed in California, it will be our job to expel them. It will be. That's just going to end up being what it is. And what that's going to end in is our military and our police force against our citizens. Because we will be the people expelling these people from our state, from our private property. That's not a place that America should ever be. And it's fucking insane that anybody would be okay with this. Anybody.
I've worked with the National Guard. We've deployed the National Guard. We did 3,000+ folks have been doing logistics work and fire recovery work, and they're fighting the fires, the rattlesnake teams. We did the same back in George Floyd. We had no problem working collaboratively in a mutual aid system with local law enforcement, but there's a protocol, there's a process. He didn't care about that. And the worst part, he completely lied. He said in a tweet that everything's now safe, everything's fine. Is that the case, Mr. Trump? He said because he deployed the National Guard. The Guard hadn't even been deployed when he said this. It's Orwellian. Simply lying to people. Unconstitutional.
Yep, because they'll never look it up. They'll never look into it.
Illegal act, his mess, we're trying to clean it up.
You're saying that the President of the United States has made the situation on the ground here in Los Angeles less safe. What do you know about immigration enforcement today? Has there been any ICE raids in the city today? Are they coordinating with you on that at all? They give you a heads?
They're raiding the farms right now. How fucking dumb is that? They're raiding the farms right now. You know how many people come through here and work in here and then return to Mexico, like that have been doing this for generations, that our government has facilitated them doing this, and we're gonna remove those workers? I cannot get over how fucking stupid you guys are. And I'm not talking about my viewers. I'm talking about the people that believe Trump. Like, if you think grocery prices are going down. By the way, CPI just came out. Guess what? Fucking spoiler alert. Grocery prices didn't go down. The only thing that is going down right now, and the only thing that is continuing to keep CPI from inflating to an insane number, is that gas prices continue to go down. Egg prices are still 100% plus what they were year over year, and over 250% plus over the 5-year average. Eggs going from $6 a carton to $4.50 a carton is not a win. And just so you know, I work in the grocery industry. The shrinkflation is starting again. I just got a notice from a product, from a vendor, that used to be a 6.5-ounce package that went to a 5-ounce package during COVID that is now going to a 4-ounce package. You are getting 50% less product, and you are paying the same price to keep you convinced that that fucking vendor never raised its prices. You are stupid if you think that getting rid of the immigrants that have been doing the farm work in our country for God knows how fucking long is going to bring down grocery prices. You are a moron. I cannot understate that. You are an idiot.
Of course, they're not coordinating. That said, we were told in just a recent briefing just a few minutes ago there was small activity in the county and not in the city proper. But look, you made a point a moment ago. These images are unacceptable. These kids on the car, the folks that are taking advantage of this, these aren't peaceful protesters. A lot of these folks, a lot of great people out there doing the right thing. But you get these insurgent groups coming in, sort of these anarchists that are in there to create real problems. And they're just playing right into Donald Trump's hand. And they need to be called out. They need to be arrested. It is wrong to destroy other people's property. And it is wrong to create the conditions that...
The one thing I will say, and I will continue to say about protests when they're not peaceful, stop burning down your own shit. Burn down their shit. Don't burn down the Target that your uncle works at, man.
that only exacerbate this, but Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is the sponsor of these conditions.
Let me give you the opportunity. You mentioned that there are people out there causing mischief and mayhem. What's your message to those people who are out there tonight? Not the peaceful protesters that are out there protesting for the rights of immigrants, but for the people that are doing damage to buildings, to law enforcement.
Well, they're doing more than damage to buildings and to property. They're potentially damaging the very foundation of our republic.
And this is what I'm saying. This is what I don't like about Newsome, and I don't like about a lot of the establishment politicians that still inundate the left. Is I know you got a job to do. I know part of being a leader is keeping a level head and presenting the best possible example. But there needs to be some fire here. There needs to be some, people are upset. That's why shit's getting broken. People are upset. That's why they're getting in cops' faces. There needs to be recognition by people like Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or whoever else, Walz, whoever, that the reason that not every single person out there that fucking is breaking a cop's window is, some malcontent. Some of them have a fucking reason for why they're upset. And if you can't recognize why those people are upset, then you're going to be failing when it comes to taking care of all your constituents, because those people are your constituents too.
The democracy.
Yeah, the Waymos, maybe not the Waymos venture.
I mean, you're seeing these authoritarian tendencies now being acted out by this administration. And we're case in point Waymos as it relates to nationalizing, federalizing the National Guard, threatening now to put in Marines. So I hope these people would pause.
So this was before, and then he did put the Marines in. Holy shit.
And just consider. Now, some of them, they want that kind of chaos. Some ways, they're adjacent to where Donald Trump is. But the peaceful protesters, we want to keep them safe. We want them to exercise their fundamental rights. We want to keep those that are enforcing the laws in a respectful and responsible way also safe. But Donald Trump needs to pull back.
So that's good the way he said that. Those that are enforcing the laws that are respectful. Because that's the other side of it. Because you don't get to be disrespectful because you have a badge on your chest. You are the person that's supposed to lead by example. And there are too many fucking videos now of these police officers shooting peaceful protesters because they got annoyed. There's too many videos of these police officers that have ripped their fucking name off of their helmet and covered their badge numbers. That shit needs to stop. That's the kind of shit that if you want to tell people, hey, you should be more peaceful in your protesting, you should be careful about what you're doing, then you can't have the other side agitating. Like I said, you can't tell a person to be peaceful while pressing their fucking neck with your boot. That's not, to me, that's not an acceptable outcome. I'm not going to be peaceful with your boot on my neck. That's not going to happen.
He needs to stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these conditions. This is Donald Trump's problem right now, and if he can't solve it, we will.
He continues to, as always, hit you hard publicly. Just 10 minutes ago, he put out another Truth Social telling you and the mayor to apologize to the people of Los Angeles. You guys go at it pretty hard publicly, but I know you talk privately. Have you spoken in the last couple of days to the president about any of this?
Yeah, we talked for almost 20 minutes, and this issue never came up. I kept trying to talk about L.A. He wanted to talk about all these other issues. We had a very decent conversation.
When was this?
This was late Friday.
Yeah, because he wants to press him. Because he doesn't want to talk about L.A. because he knows it's not an issue. Instead, he wants to talk about all these other things because he wants to press him. He wants to make Newsome feel that pressure of, hey, we want to talk about L.A., but he's not going to, because he's going to bring up instead what he thinks Newsome should have to do for him. So the reason he's bringing up these other things is because he's insinuating that Newsome should be doing these other things if he doesn't want Trump to escalate what's going on in L.A.
Friday night, about 1:30 plus his time.
After the protest had started.
After the protest, and he never once brought up the National Guard. He's a stone-cold liar. He said he did. Stone-cold liar. Never did. It was a very civil conversation. I've always wanted to approach engagement with the President of the United States in a respectful and responsible way. But there's no working with the President. There's only working for him. And I will never work for Donald Trump.
Did you mention at all to him in that phone call on Friday night the types of raids that were happening in your state on Friday? You know, there are reports that and video of enforcement operations happening in ways that they haven't traditionally. ICE officers going to Home Depots around Los Angeles and picking off day laborers. Did you bring that up with him?
The conversation started with the frame of what's happening in L.A. He immediately pivoted to other interests and other things.
Do you think he was aware of what was happening in Los Angeles?
I think I'm more than aware. And obviously, he was setting this up to take these additional steps.
This was a setup.
And I'm not saying he was setting things up. I'm not saying it was a setup. But clearly, they were in the process.
Pinkerbell, what a dumb timeline we live in, where presidential decree is delivered via True Social. I'm writing a book on it. I'm like five chapters into that book now, so I'm steaming along. The book is writing itself. Let me just tell you that. Would Gandhi or MLK torture cars, throw fireworks or rocks at the cops? MLK actually, towards the end of his life, was what is that quote? There's a quote from MLK about that sometimes violence is necessary. MLK was becoming more radicalized towards the end of his life when obviously he was assassinated, so he had a lot more to go. But obviously MLK was also a pretty level-headed individual. And that's what I'm saying is you need balance. There is a time to be physical. There is a time to push back. And there are times when you should think logically and critically. And like I said, that depends on where your line is drawn. I'll be honest with you. There ain't a time in my life that you will ever put your hands on somebody in my family or my friend group that you will not find me all up on top of you. Like, there is never going to be a time in my life that I will ever peacefully deal with a person putting their hands on one of my family members or my friends. And I don't care if that makes me immature. I don't care if that makes me the lesser person. At the end of the day, I'm not going to ever let somebody harm somebody that I love and then stand back and use the excuse that it's not the right thing to do to physically defend them. So my lines are pretty well drawn. I've said this since I was a young man. I said, you can say whatever you want to me. You can call me names. You can talk shit to me. But you ever put your hands on me, and you better be able to back that shit up. Like, and that's been my lines my whole life. And I'm sure that MLK had a line. I don't know about Gandhi. I don't know anything about Gandhi. I don't know anything about Gandhi. But you know, as far as MLK goes, yeah, I do believe, if I'm correct, I could be incorrect about this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Towards the end of his life before he was assassinated, he did say that you have to become more aggressive, more confrontational, that you can't just allow this shit to happen to people. Now, like I said, I could be wrong about that.
Of moving to these next steps, because out of nowhere, just a few hours after that conversation, he moves to pull the trigger under this construct under Title 10, and then created and exacerbated the conditions that are persisting today.
This is your authority normally to deploy the National Guard here. Right. You did it. We were together after the fires, and those National Guard troops have been out all across Los Angeles working to rebuild and recover this city. How did you find out that the President of the United States was going to usurp your authority and deploy your National Guard here in California?
I got a call from a staffer. No heads up whatsoever. And again, we're here to support local law enforcement. There's a mutual aid process. Local law enforcement had no needs. They were not requesting any additional resources. I've got 100 now. I have 175 CHP officers, technically trained officers, tactical teams to address Donald Trump's mess. We are here to support local law enforcement, the sheriff's office, LAPD, but they didn't need that support. He made this up. This is a manufactured crisis in order to get under the tent to start to stretch credulity and to begin the process of moving inevitably towards a constitutional questioning crisis.
Yeah, Venture, that's what he's saying. The whole situation is set up and made by Trump. Yeah, that's what this is about. Like I said, it's Project 2025. It's what Kyle said. This is not, like I said, you don't have to be fucking Always Sunny in Philadelphia and try and connect the dots. They spelled this shit out, and they did it in a good place. They put it in a book where MAGA supporters will never... You think Squirrel has ever read a fucking book in his life? No, of course not. He's never read a book in his whole fucking life. Like, you gotta recognize the smartest thing these people ever did was put their plans in books. Because these motherfuckers don't read.
Crisis around posse comitatus. And it's, I think, inevitable. That's where he's going.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his work. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Let your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated.
Oh, shit.
Let your hands off these poor people just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror.
And what did Tom Homan say? Tom Homan was like, we probably won't. Because he knows fucking better. Dude, if they arrest Gavin Newsom, oh my God, you might as well just make him the fucking president. You might as well just go ahead and hand that shit over to him. If you arrest Gavin Newsom, his ass will 100% be the president in 2020. He might be in 2026.
The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
I genuinely don't know where the other Democrats are. Like, where are the other... Like, so now he's got to take on this fight alone. Why? Because it has to do with...
Yeah, and this is something I said about the protests. I said if California is the only one protesting this shit, that's going to be super sad. Like, if that's where people at... If this is what I'm saying is if, like... You're so sad, so scared of physical confrontation. If you're so scared of getting called out for not being the tolerant left, that you're not up in arms. Because this ain't just happening in California. It just barely even fucking started here. Like, like if you ain't in Chicago, mad. If you ain't in Detroit, mad. If you ain't in New York, mad. If you ain't in Washington, mad. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, where are the rest of these voices? And I just saw these TikTok influencers talking about this. They said during Black Lives Matter, there's all these, rappers talking about it. There was all these basketball players wearing shirts that say freedom and justice and BLM and all this shit. Where you at now, dog? And I'll tell you where they at. They're scared. They're scared as fuck, man. They don't want to do what I'm doing. They don't want to stand up here and tell you that sometimes shit won't be peaceful, that you have to get over your own inner criticisms, and every once in a while you got to push the boot off your neck because you ain't going to be able to silently just move it with your fucking mind like you're a Jedi. They don't want to sit up here and do this. They got Adidas contracts. They got, they got promotions from, across the fucking country. When you see some of these NFL teams saying, we don't give a fuck, we're still going to do Pride Month, good on them. Good fucking on them. Because you know what? They're doing something right now that other people won't do. When you have baseball teams that are like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do it anyways. Good on them. And the most important thing is that you make sure that those people know that you support what they're doing, because you need those voices. But where are all the other people? Everybody else is floundering. That lady in Maine, she's tough as fuck. She said, "Come see me," and I'll tell you, the next place you're gonna see Marines is probably in Maine, because that lady looked Donald Trump dead off in his beady ass little eyes and said, "You got a little dick, and you ain't big enough to be fighting this fight. You can't ride this ride. Go sit your orange ass down over there, because you can't ride this ride. You ain't tall enough, not even with the lifts in your shoes."
California, because it's happening in LA, but Trump is already going to do it in other major Democratic cities. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep going. This is the model. The model is do illegal ICE raids that lead to backlash and protests, then send in the U.S. military to occupy our own streets and take away the rights of our own people.
That's insane.
So where the fuck are the other Democrats? All I see is him fighting back, and it's 1 versus 20 on the other side. All right, but there's more. Mike Johnson was asked about Newsome, and listen to what he said.
The president said, possibly in jest, that if he were Tom Homan, he would arrest Gavin Newsom. Do you believe that Newsom should face consequences in a legal way?
That's not my lane. I'm not going to give you legal analysis on whether Gavin Newsom should be arrested, but he ought to be tarred and feathered. I'll say that. I mean,
dude, Gavin Newsom will whoop Mike Johnson's ass.
Look, he's standing in the way of the administration and the carrying out of federal law. Right? He is applauding the bad guys and standing in the way of the good guys. He is trying to. He is.
See what I mean? They try to make it out like you should be the one that's ashamed. Who should be ashamed in this? Mike Johnson should be ashamed. He's a fucking traitor. He's a little fucking coward. And if he ever had to say that shit to Gavin Newsom's face, he'd buckle like a fucking lawn chair that you bought at Walmart on fucking sale. Like a cheap Chinese-made, fake-ass, not even aluminum, pot metal fucking lawn chair. He would fold, because he ain't got no balls. Gavin Newsom would eat Mike Johnson's lunch. And Mike Johnson would try and watch some gay porn with him.
He's a participant, an accomplice in our federal law enforcement agents being not just disrespected, but assaulted.
This is such fucking bullshit. They're raiding meat packing facilities, and they're raiding elementary schools and graduations, and they're raiding Home Depots and 7-Elevens and hair salons, and they're rounding up innocent people with no criminal record. None. None. So when you go into the community with masked ICE Gestapo thugs with fucking Nazi tattoos, no badges, driving regular cars, and by the way, there are already copycat crimes that are happening as a direct result of the ICE agents wearing gaiters and having no badge and driving regular cars. Now people are pretending to be ICE agents and going on crime sprees because you guys laid this lawless groundwork.
Well, sounds like a reason to put the gun in my car.
Spare me with your fucking sanctimonious horseshit about you're getting away of the law. No, everything this regime is doing is flatly illegal. And they've been told time and time and time again by the courts. Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act. 4 different courts now, including MAGA judges, have said, you can't do it. You've stretched the definition of the word invasion to the point where it's fucking meaningless.
This is a serious problem. And the governor is now filing a lawsuit against the president. What a joke. Do your job, man. That's what I tell Gavin Newsom.
It's a joke to file a lawsuit against the president when he is illegally federalizing the National Guard. It was a day of protest at the time, and then when Trump escalated it, now it's gotten more violent and gone on longer. So he said, as you heard, Gavin Newsom should be tarred and feathered. Gavin responds, good to know we're skipping the arrest and going straight to the 1700s-style forms of punishment. A fitting threat given the GOP wants to bring our country back to the 18th century. That is fucking accurate as well. Holy shit.
Accurate.
So Trump's rapid response team said, Gavin Newsom claims President Trump is traumatizing our communities by taking criminal, illegal immigrant killers, rapists, gangbangers, drug dealers, human traffickers, and domestic abusers off the street. Then he responds, was the 4-year-old the gangbanger? Was the pregnant woman the rapist? We go after serious violent criminals in California.
Yep, and see, this is, once again, this is what I'm telling you. So what the right does to the left is the right goes, what, you like gangbangers? Oh, you like rapists? Oh, you like drug dealers? Oh, you like traffickers? Like, because they want you to be quiet. They don't want you to be loud. Please, if there's one fucking thing I can ask of you guys, get louder. Stop letting these fucking people talk to you this way. Tell them they're fucking, that, like, the garbage, that they're wrong, that they can fuck off. I was just playing a game the other day with my buddy, a gang of disc golf. And there's this fat motherfucker with a "Don't Tread on Me" hat. He's behind us. My buddy's a loud dude. And he's a lot louder even when I'm there, right? And so we're having a good conversation, making fun of MAGA, talking about how much of a fucking cult they are. And we're talking real fucking loud. And when you look over, and this fucking dude's fat ass father too, and his fat ass mom, all three of the fat motherfuckers, diabetic as fuck, looking like they're about to lose all their access to insulin. Still gonna eat at Chick-fil-A. They don't care. Sitting there. They look mad. But you know they didn't say a goddamn thing. You know why? Because you fat and I'm in shape. You don't want that smoke. And at the end of the day, I'm that person, man. I don't give two shits. You want to wear the hat? I don't need a fucking hat. I'm just me. I just say that shit loud and fucking proud. Ask my wife. I'm happy to be me. I don't need a hat. I don't need a gang. Fuck a gang. I'm a posse. Get loud. Stop letting these fuckers, like, fucking shout you down. Stop letting these fuckers get you to self-analyze and be critical of yourselves. You should be, but not because of these people, but because the shit you think matters, because morally you want to be better than these people. So I'm not saying don't analyze your own behaviors. I'm not saying don't criticize the people within your own party. What I'm saying is stop letting these people be the impetus for why you do it, because they don't deserve your respect. They don't deserve your empathy. They don't deserve your politeness or your etiquette. You don't want to hear me making fun of fucking cult members? Walk the fuck away, because I ain't going to stop. I'm going to make fun of you, and I'm going to laugh really fucking loud, because I laugh so loud. I laugh with my whole chest.
California. That's not what you are doing. Then we also have Stephen Miller, the sanctimonious asshole, Stephen Miller. He says, didn't have a problem. Your state is a criminal sanctuary for millions of illegal alien invaders. By the way, let me just pause here to point out. The reason why sanctuary cities exist is so that an immigrant who's here in an undocumented way, if they see a crime, they can call the cops to get the criminal arrested. If you don't have a sanctuary city, the immigrant is not going to call the cops because they think if I call the cops, they might deport me. So you can see a fucking murder or a robbery or any of a number of crimes and go, I ain't getting involved because I don't want to get fucking deported. Yep. But if you protect them in a sanctuary city, you will end up getting more actual criminals. That's the whole point of a sanctuary city, you fucking jackasses. So if you actually believe in law and order, being tough on crime, you would support the idea of a sanctuary city.
No, I saw you, Diane.
Oh my God.
I saw you on
Didn't
that.
have a problem. Your state is a criminal sanctuary for millions of illegal alien invaders, cartel killers, foreign terrorists, transnational gangs, and insurrectionist mobs. Huge swaths of the city where I was born now resemble failed third world nations. A ruptured, balkanized society of strangers. When our courageous ICE officers fighting to rescue your communities came under violent, organized attack, you and the LA mayor left them unforgivably to fend for themselves.
Fuck
when the
Stephen
rioters
Miller.
swarmed, you handed over your streets willingly. You still refuse to arrest and prosecute the arsonists, seditionists, and insurrectionists. This administration is fighting to save the city and the citizens you have left to struggle and
I'll
suffer.
make Gnome Down to moderate.
So he
and
responds,
see if it happens to him.
The only people defending insurrectionists are you and Trump, or are we pretending like you didn't pardon 1,500 of them? It's true. I don't want to hear a fucking word from you guys. Insurrectionist. You literally pardoned them. Over 400 of them were violent. Over 100 of them literally assaulted cops. You pardoned all of them. One of them went on to be a fredophile, by the way. Another one went on to kill somebody in a drunk driving accident. These are criminals. Don't talk to me about anti-Semitism. You guys pardoned somebody who was wearing a Camp Auschwitz hoodie. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to hear it. And Stephen Miller was the guy yelling at ICE officers.
There you go, Kyle. There you go, Kyle. Yeah, I can see you, Diane. I can see you. I can see you. Everybody say hi to Diane that can see her. If you can see Diane's chat, say hello to her.
Why?
Get mad, Kyle. Yell at these motherfuckers.
Why are you only going after criminals? Don't do that. Go after the people at the Home Depot and the people at the 7-Eleven and the hair salon and the school and here and there. We want 3,000 deportations a day, baby. We can't just go after the criminals. We're already through all the criminals. So, by the way, I crunched the numbers on this. There's already been, you ready for this? Under Trump, there's already been 100,000 ICE arrests. 100,000. Did you know less than 1% of the immigrant population are violent criminals? 1%. Less than 1%. In total, the number is 10,000 or fewer. Violent criminal undocumented immigrants. 10,000 or fewer. They've already arrested 100,000. There are 10,000 or fewer violent undocumented immigrants in this country in total. So that means 90,000 people, no criminal record, completely innocent. They're fucking with...
Yeah, and every study that they've done so far on all the people that have been deported has shown, like, without a doubt that what he's saying is true. That the majority of people that have been deported from this country have either no criminal record or they have, like, fucking tickets. And once again, if you support that shit, you're a garbage-ass human being. And I hope one day your ass gets deported too. Also, I hope you get Ebola in your dick.
With them, they're ruining their lives. As we know, they've deported young American citizens, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old. The 4-year-old had cancer. They arrested a woman immediately after she gave birth. They arrested a U.S. Marshal because he was fucking Hispanic.
Yes,
what are we doing here? Oh my God. Jesus Christ, dog. And I got one more for you. So Governor Newsom's press office, they've been going hard in the paint. So Trump keeps saying all these things which literally sound like evil comic book villain shit. And so they've now turned that into a meme where now you're going to see this is like what Trump has been saying mixed with like Star Wars, the evil emperor from Star Wars saying it. Watch.
We made a great decision in sending the National Guard to deal with the violent, instigated riots in California. If we had not done so, Los Angeles would have been completely obliterated. The very incompetent governor, Gavin Newsome, and Mayor Karen Bass should be saying, "Thank you, President Trump. You are so wonderful. We would be nothing without you, sir." Instead, they choose to lie to the people of California and America by saying that we weren't needed and that these are peaceful protests. Just one look at the pictures and videos of the violence and destruction.
You know he doesn't even write this
tells
shit.
You all you have to know. We will always do what is needed to keep our citizens safe so we can together make America great again.
They're cooking them. Because the bottom line is this.
Damn.
None of this would be happening if you weren't doing illegal, unconstitutional ICE raids where ICE is acting as Trump's Gestapo, violating so many laws, no due process, no habeas corpus, fucking Nazi tattoos showing, gators over their face, regular plated cars, going into workplaces. By the way, what happened? I thought, the lazy immigrants are taking all the welfare, and that's why we're raiding all of these workplaces where they're at work. Spare me. Spare me. We're done with this. Stop the illegal raids and stop them now. By the way, there's already been an article, I believe it was in NBC News, where they said, they're making it harder to do these raids now. It's more difficult now. Good! That's the point.
Fuck them.
That's the fucking point.
Fuck them.
So yes, the fascists overreached. They crossed a line. The public snapped.
Yep.
The public's out in the streets. They're not stopping. They're surrounding the ICE federal building saying, release these people now, because those are innocent people that are part of a community. None of this would be happening if they weren't going full fucking fascist and taking innocent people and ruining their lives. Spare me. If you were just deporting violent, criminal, undocumented immigrants, none of this would be happening. None of this would be happening. As I said, there's 10,000 or fewer of those in the country. Nobody's got a problem. Okay, yeah, you want to send those? Go ahead. Every administration does that. That's not fucking novel. That's not fucking novel. You're way above and beyond that. Why? Because they are, in their heart of hearts, white nationalist. Mm-hmm. Understand that.
Stephen Miller's
understand
ass.
That. That's 100%
what they are. Is. 100%.
And that's why they'll stop at nothing to do mass deportations, even though they know they're getting all these innocent people. They are destroying this country day by day. Finally, somebody is fighting back, but he needs reinforcements.
Let's
For the
go.
love of God. I know Chuck Schumer is useless. Can you fucking stop being humiliating for one day? Can Hakeem Jeffries stop being humiliating? Can any Democrats? Like what? You think, it's it's a states issue, so I'm staying out of it. The man is deploying the U.S. military in the streets of the United States. This is not just a state issue. This is about democracy. This is about checks and balances. This is about having a country that's not a fascist authoritarian hellhole. Speak up now. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big.
There you go, my man Kyle. He's saying the shit I'm saying. Me and Kyle, we might not always be on the same page on everything, but we're on the same page about this shit. And that is, this wouldn't be happening if it was just, hey, you're trying to get rid of criminals. Hey, like, you know, you're going about this in a way where people aren't getting snatched off the streets by people with masks that most of them ain't even fucking probably ICE people. Like, the problem that is going on right now is that you're being lied to. You're being told that this is for the betterment of society. And the reality is these people are doing it for their own fucking reasons. And that's to keep you where you are. Oh, they're opening up jobs. They're opening up shitty fucking jobs for you to do because that's where they want you. They want you stuck in that shit. They don't want you to have time to think. They don't want you to have time to protest. They want you busy working so that way you don't realize that these fucking billionaires are carving out somewhere in this country to do whatever the fuck they want. That's why there was a fucking stipulation in Trump's big dumbass bill that there shall be no regulation of AI for 10 years by the states. Because they don't want you knowing what they're about to do to you. You can believe me or you can not. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen anyways. You can either do something about it or you can sit there and go, it's not true, until that shit happens to you. And when that shit happens to you, I'll be sitting there laughing at you with my chest. Because even while in chains in a gulag, I'll still laugh at your ass. I'll laugh at your ass, and then I'm going to take your fruit cup. Noam, you don't have to be nice. What are you talking about? I like my mods like me. I like my mods just like me. How do you think Diane's a mod? All right. Let's keep it rolling on this shit, because this is what's going on. You know, I like to sit here. Let's go big me. I like to sit here and make jokes and, you know, push buttons like this.
I love Tesla.
Love to sit here and push buttons like this.
Obama.
And just make jokes all day. But that's not what's going on right now, because this motherfucker...
I love the poorly educated.
Loves the poorly educated. Okay? And I would like this to just be a fun show, man. I would like to just laugh and have a good time and enjoy shit. But these fuckers, they stole that shit. They changed it. They decided they wanted you on edge all the time. But they thought putting you on edge was going to break you. It ain't breaking me. It's just getting me more interested. It's just getting me more activated. Just making me more, like, ready for what the fuck is about to happen. So I'd like to sit here and just laugh and have a good time, make jokes and stuff. But you know what? Sometimes when somebody's talking some shit and they seem like they want to fight, I'm going to give it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, here you go, right here. You guys ready for that? Okay?
Lady, I got buddies who died face down in the muck so that you and I could enjoy this family restaurant.
Fucking exactly. Exactly, Walter. Exactly. So let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about some more shit. Let's talk about Trump and his dumbass parade. Let's talk about what a narcissistic, evil human being he is. Let's talk about how garbage it is for a president of the United States to parade the military through the city as though he's some kind of fucking orange Kim Jong-un. This is a man that tells you that he's trying to save money for this country. Meanwhile, he's going to run tanks down the streets. Do you know how bad asphalt is? Do you know how shit our roads are? Do you think running tanks down the roads is good for the fucking infrastructure of Washington? No, you know what it's good for? It's the only way that Dinky can get that half and 3/4 up again. That's the only thing that gets him there. Just a bunch of people cheering his name. And he just rubs that little knob a couple times until it spurts in his pants, all over his braces and down his catheter. Fucking Mike Johnson comes and cleans that shit up with a quick wipe. You know that shit happens, guys. You know what happens. Anyways, let's watch Mike Figueredo on the Humanist Report talk about unhinged Trump threatens violence against Americans who protest his military parade. Let's talk about that.
Celebrating big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protest that wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force. And I haven't even heard about a protest, but, you know, this is people that hate our country.
They're going to be met with very big force. Like, dude. It isn't even that long ago. Jesus fucking Christ. A couple of years ago, if you heard a president of the United States say that protesters would be met with great force for protesting his military parade, every single person in this country would go, wait, what? The fuck is going on? Hold on. It wouldn't have mattered if you were on the left or the right or a centrist. Every fucking person, even the people that aren't politically affiliated, would have been like, wait, what the fuck did he say? Did he say that he's going to meet protesters with great force at his birthday day parade? And yet there are people that are going to fucking defend this shit? Eat a dick. Eat a dick. That's where I'm at with that. If you are literally defending this motherfucker, saying that he is going to use great force against people at his birthday day parade, you ain't American. You might as well go ahead and go over there, grovel in front of Putin and ask for him a place in the court. Because you ain't American, you ain't a patriot, you ain't shit.
But they will be met with very heavy force.
That was our president, threatening violence against Americans who may want to protest his fascist $45 million military parade that's being thrown for his birthday on June 14th. And I'm not really sure if him repeating himself 3 times was for emphasis or due to his cognitive decline. Either way, he wants you to know that he's going to hurt you if you disrupt his birthday parade in any way, shape, or form, because your physical well-being matters less to him than his birthday celebration. But it's not just about his birthday, because now more than ever he's making it known that he won't tolerate any dissent at all from the peasants. And as you all know, he illegally seized control of California's National Guard and subsequently deployed U.S. Marines to Los Angeles to quell anti-ICE protests, and he hasn't ruled out invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807. Now, if he were to do this, it would be a drastic escalation, but I want you to know what that specifically means. Brandy Buchman of HuffPost explains, when the Insurrection Act is invoked, it suspends the Posse Comitatus Act, which forbids the military from getting involved in local or state law enforcement. Invoking the law is rare. It has occurred just 30 times in history. Martial law and the Insurrection Act are not one and the same. The Insurrection Act is invoked typically to have the military assist civilian law enforcement. Martial law refers to when the military becomes enforcers of local and state laws. So now that you know what it is, I want to explain how the authoritarians in Trump's administration are trying to bypass federal laws to weaponize the U.S. military against U.S. citizens in more insidious ways. For example, Common Dreams reports that DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is urging Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to direct the military to carry out arrests as other federal officers in DHS or ICE would. In other words, she wants to turn the U.S. military into a Gestapo-like force akin to ICE, but Hegseth can't do that because it violates the Posse Comitatus Act, hence why the invocation of the Insurrection Act is needed to suspend that particular law. But I think that she knows that the administration would face blowback if they invoke the Insurrection Act, so they're all trying to effectively grant the military the authority to arrest citizens without invoking the Insurrection Act so as to avoid mass hysteria. Either way, these fascists are cooking up new ways to quash dissent from an increasingly agitated public that's just fed up with...
Yep. And so, the military being activated in this way, it's one of those things that once you take the step over that line, there isn't, like, you don't just back up quickly back over the line. That's not how it works. Once they step over this line, bad things are going to happen. The military wasn't meant to police American civilians. We have a police force that, though at times is really fucking bad at their jobs, but they are the people meant to do that. When you have military, when you have an 18-year-old kid that just joined the military running around determining whether or not brown people should be in this country or not, you are going to have issues that arise that are going to be stains upon America's history for the rest of time. You step over this line with the military and you have them start policing American citizens, bad shit is going to happen.
With their Hitlerian tactics. But unfortunately for them, their effects aren't having the effect that they hoped it would, because as NBC News reports, anti-ICE protests are turning into a nationwide resistance movement, with protests now taking place in 17 states and the District of Columbia. And by Wednesday, they'll likely have spilled over into even more states and cities. And these protests come at a time when the Trump administration is cracking down more, with a plan to send 9,000 immigrants to Guantanamo Bay as soon as this week. And he's also vowing to expand large-scale ICE raids like the one in LA that catalyzed the protests.
Reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles, should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
Yeah.
And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen.
Actually, fuck.
Oh my god, how can you fucking possibly follow this dude and think that you're a smart person? Oh my god. He said people that have been put here by Biden or the auto pen. There's just not enough shallow puddles, guys. There's not enough shallow puddles. There's just not. There's not. Because if there were, if there are enough, we could take care of this. These fuckers are going to have to share some shallow puddles. Face down, ass up. If you drowned, I don't give a fuck.
You're kicking out innocent, hardworking people, including American citizens with cancer.
Oh, dude.
You're the murderer.
Our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen.
Actually, fuckface, you're kicking out innocent, hardworking people, including American citizens with cancer.
Jesus Christ.
You're the murderer. You're also a rapist and a convicted felon, unlike most of the people that you're rounding up. And I don't know why he's even pretending like he's only targeting criminals at this point, because Tom Homan just admitted that they're not doing that. Also, last week, Stephen Miller told ICE to go to Home Depots and 7-Elevens to target immigrant workers. So drop the fucking act already. We know it's bullshit. You're against all immigrants, and since the new patch for conservative NPCs went into effect recently, where they're now just...
Look at that shit. Look at that shit. Holy fuck. Word for word, these fucking NPCs, dog. Oh my god, they might share a brain. I'll give them that. The interconnectivity could be that there are so few brain cells left on the right that they're actually sharing them to be able to type out that many words. Like that is a full paragraph multiple sentences with commas, they might need to combine their powers to come up with a tweet like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Just coincidentally chirping about banning all, quote, third world immigration, legal or illegal, I think it's safe to say.
I wonder if that came from Russia. That should be investigated, whether or not like these tweets just come as like a template from like Russian propagandists, and these fuckers just fill them out and put in their own, like, what was that game they used to play in the book? There's a book and you do like write whatever word you wanted in there. Is that what's going on right now?
That you can stop pretending like you're only going after criminals. We know that that's not the case, but understand that this is one of many threats he's issued to Americans this week alone. On Monday, he threatened to put troops everywhere, and now he's saying that his Gestapo will terrorize even more cities, meaning that more men in masks will abduct people and throw them into unmarked vehicles under the guise of...
And yet he doesn't want you to wear masks. Like, how the fuck can you make this right in your head? That the dude has employed people that wear masks, that bear no identification, are ripping people off the street, and then the dude tells you, if you protest, you can't wear a mask. How much of a fucking cuck are you? How much, like, would you let Donald Trump just get pegged by your wife right in front of you? Because it's not the other way around. Trump doesn't do your wife in front of you. Trump gets done by your wife with a strap on in front of you. It's a weird cuck fetish that only conservatives have. How much of a cuck are you if you're a conservative? How much of a cuck are you? Holy shit. To allow that orange fucking clown to tell you that he's going to have people with masks ripping people off the street, and if you dare to wear a mask, that he'll have you fucking put in prison. Like, what is that like to have no balls like that? What is it like to just be such a fucking slave? How does it feel to have that boot just firmly pressed upon your throat like that? Jesus Christ.
Making America safe for some bullshit, even though ICE has objectively made Americans less safe. Let me show you what I mean.
This man was posing as a federal immigration officer when he walked into this car repair business right next door to the Philadelphia Police 15th District and Northeast detectives and robbed it Sunday afternoon. The man wearing a badge, blue latex gloves, a tactical vest saying security law enforcement agent with a black baseball hat and sunglasses on. This second surveillance photo shows him when he zip-tied the cashier, who told me she's from the Dominican Republic, a legal resident since 2007.
Oh my God, it's the dumbest timeline. Oh, fuck, guys.
The whole world gone crazy! Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
Oh my God.
And says every time she turned around to try to get a good look at the man's face, he strongly twisted her around, bruising her arm, telling her he was with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, better known as ICE. He came and went in this Ford E250 commercial van. He got away with $1,000. The 50-year-old victim says she volunteered to work Sunday, filling in for another worker who...
Yep, the gun's going in the car.
...who was sick. Still hurting a day later from being manhandled roughly, she says, and zip-tied behind her back for a while before she could get help from co-workers.
My dudes, just a bit of advice. I have 3 weapons on me at all fucking times. 3 weapons on me at all fucking times. Y'all should too. Just a heads up.
Philadelphia police say it took more than 2 hours for her to get free and notify them right next door. By then, the man took off in the van out Harbison Avenue toward Roosevelt Boulevard with a 2.5-hour head start on his getaway in this very brazen robbery. Posing as law enforcement, right next door to law enforcement offices, which is why the victim believed he was legitimate until she saw him grabbing all the cash from the drawers and taking off.
We all knew that this was bound to happen sooner or later. When federal officers wear masks and drive unmarked vehicles and violate people's civil liberties and act unhinged, you make it incredibly easy for actual criminals to rob people simply by posing as them. But thankfully, the woman in that story was safe, but it could have gone so much worse. Imagine if you're alone and there's a bunch of masked men that approach you and they tell you that you have to get in their car. I mean, these days, you'd have no idea whether they're illegal human traffickers who want to sexually abuse you or legal human traffickers like ICE who want to detain you. But if you suspect that they're not who they say they are, they'll accuse you of resisting arrest. But if you comply and they're not federal law enforcement, then you could be putting yourself in danger by getting in the car with some violent criminal who wants to take advantage of you in nefarious ways. Everyone knew that this was bound to happen. It was just a matter of when this was going to happen, which is why, as the Miami Herald reports, a YouGov Economist poll finds that 2/3 of respondents think that ICE officers should be required to wear uniforms, and 47%, which is a plurality, don't think that they should be allowed to wear masks. But here's the thing. These ICE officers feel compelled to conceal their identities because what they're doing in many instances is illegal. Literally, they're getting violent and unhinged with people. They're violating due process rights and civil liberties. They're entering people's homes without warrants. These things are things that are illegal that could one day lead to their prosecution. Hence why they feel inclined to hide their faces, because it makes them easier to get away with the crimes that they're committing. And they're right, it will make it easier for them to get away with the crimes that they're committing, which is why we can't just commit to abolishing ICE. Every single ICE agent has to be investigated and held accountable for their potential criminality. And any Democrat who opposes the total abolition of ICE should be disqualified in 2028. And you need to make this a litmus test now, because ICE, for the most part, still has bipartisan support. And as Jonathan Cohn explains, 75 House Democrats just signed onto a Republican resolution praising ICE, including so-called resistors like...
Yep. And the ass is like... Once again, I said this. This is the fucking right making the left eat that shit. Because they got no balls, dude. Because what did they say? They said it was a disavowalment of that Egyptian dude that hurt those Jewish people. And so pretty much they put this inside of the same, what is it called when they do that? Fuck, I forgot. But, God, why can't I think of the term right now? But it's where they say, it's opposite of a censure, where they say that a person has done something good, so they're applauding it. I'm sure fucking Mike's probably about to say it. I'm a moron. And they put that shit in there to make them look bad. Because if they don't sign up on this shit, then it looks like they support that Egyptian dude hurting those Jewish people. And it's like, this is the problem with the left, man. This is the problem with the left right here. You got to grow a pair of balls. You got to be loud. You got to talk shit. I see Eric Swalwell's ass on there. You about to get a phone call, dog.
Like Eric Swalwell and Lucy Macbeth, as well as the more unhinged genocide-supporting centrists like Wesley Bell, Shontel Brown, and Richie Torres. These Democrats are fascist collaborators expressing support for Trump's Nazi-like Gestapo force, and they should never win another election again. All of them. But I think that Democrats, they sign on to these things because they're naive and they think that it's going to make them appear reasonable when there's no reasoning with fascists. You're not going to be able to get them to bring you into the fold if you somehow make them see you as reasonable or one of them. All they care about is power and domination. That's it. And the same goes for Bernie as well, who didn't do something as egregious as them. But, you know, he took the time to condemn violent protesters who targeted property instead of violent cops who targeted human beings. He wrote on Twitter, Dr. King defeated racist government officials and ended segregation through disciplined, nonviolent resistance. Defeating Trumpism, oligarchy, and authoritarianism requires that same level of discipline. Violent protests are counterproductive and play right into Trump's playbook.
And he might be right about that last part, but also doing nothing and being completely peaceful plays directly into it too. So it's catch-22. You can sit here quietly and peacefully and own the high ground and be the morally superior person that gets put in chains, and you can be the guy that's locked in solitary confinement that's a martyr to future generations. You can be that person, for sure, but you're not affecting change. You can do that, or you can play into their hands the other way, and that is that you can stand up for yourself. You can stand up for the people around you. You can call out these fucking police officers that are shooting people in the chest with fucking rubber bullets for no fucking reason at all. I saw Silent talking about that lawyer earlier. That shit. Like, I'm not here to be quiet. And I get Bernie. Bernie's an old gentleman. And Bernie's a dude who has led a life and has led by example. I got you, dog. I feel you. But there's branches to all of this shit. And some of these branches got to stand up for other branches so that way some of these branches can sit the fuck down in the middle of a fucking intersection and not just get ran over. Sometimes you need people to fucking light some shit on fire. Sometimes you need people to say to people, I'm not going to take this shit. I'm not going to let you push me around. As I always say, though, stop lighting your own shit on fire.
I love you, Bernie, but with all due respect, this is fucking tone deaf. Property damage is less serious of a crime than damage to actual human beings who live and breathe, which is what the cops and this administration are currently perpetrating. And if you care more about a fucking Waymo that was set on fire than, say, Nick Stern, the British journalist who had to have surgery after he was hit with a non-lethal round, then you need to recalibrate. And I'm not saying that Bernie cares more about...
Okay, how about this for an idea? How about this? Let's get a... Let's find a middle ground. How about protesters also get to fire non-lethal rounds? How about that? How about that? I'm just saying. All right? This could be a win-win situation for everybody. Non-lethal rounds. See who fucking lasts longer. Those thousands of fucking protesters or the 100 ICE agents. That's all I'm saying. Winner take all. Winner take all. Non-violent rounds. Non-lethal. Beanbag bullets.
About property damage than human beings. But when he says things like this, he feeds into this narrative that we always have to condemn the people with no power and not the people with all of the power. And I think that this knee-jerk reaction to fixate on property damage over more serious crimes like injuries to actual people, it serves fascism, either wittingly or unwittingly, and we have to stop doing it. Inanimate objects don't feel pain. People do. Waymos don't have families to go home to. People do. And performatively condemning a few violent instigators isn't going to win you any favor. I'm not saying that I condone violence and property damage and whatnot, obviously. I'm saying that for legal reasons here on this program. But I'm not going to whine about that when actual human beings are being harmed right now. My priorities are to protect...
AJ says, back around 1990, there was that fellow at Tiananmen Square, China. He stopped the tanks by walking in front of them. Yeah, we just had a moment like that where one of these ICE protesters tried to stop an ICE vehicle and they ran his ass over. I feel you. And I think that Tiananmen Square thing is a very powerful picture. And it's fucking sad to think that what happened in Tiananmen Square is the positive example. And the negative example is an ICE agent running over a protester in America today. So, like, I feel you, 100%. But these people aren't stopping the tank. If there was a tank, they'd run his ass over.
People, not property. And on the subject of Dr. MLK Jr., his peaceful approach didn't buy him any goodwill. I say this because the overwhelming majority of racist-ass Americans disapproved of the civil rights movement during the 1960s, despite their peaceful tactics, including freedom rides, sit-ins, and peaceful rallies. And as Caroline Kwan put it, there is no way to protest against fascism that the fascist powers will deem acceptable. When protest is peaceful, they respond with violence. When protest is not peaceful, they respond with violence. So ultimately, those who are siding with ICE, the cops, and the federal government believe that the only correct form of protest is no protest at all. And she's exactly right. Property damage pales in comparison to the violence being perpetrated against actual human beings, and we can never ever lose sight of that fact. So remember, violence from ICE, as well as potential warfare against Americans by the U.S. military that this administration is trying to instigate, that is the real crime here. Trump is threatening to harm or potentially kill American citizens. And at a minimum, he wants to use the military that's theoretically supposed to protect us to intimidate us. That right there is the serious crime that we cannot ignore, and I refuse to let pearl-clutching bootlickers distract us from the real outrage here, which is Donald Trump's authoritarianism, and you shouldn't let that noise distract you either.
There we go. Dude, back the fucking back. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. First, Kyle. Good job, Kyle. First of all, Kyle Kulinski with a dope-ass video. Not taking this shit fucking, I'm not gonna be peaceful. I'm gonna be peaceful. No, good job, Kyle. Good job, Kyle. Fuck that shit. Okay? And then Mike, right afterwards, with that same energy, that's what I'm fucking talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll take it away from you and stick it up your ass and pull the fucking trigger till it goes click.
Yeah. You know why?
No. He's a sex offender with a
Because he's a
record.
sex
When he moved
offender.
to Hollywood, he had to go door to door to
That's
tell everyone he was a petter ass.
Yeah. Fuck that. Good job, Mike. Good job, Kyle. Keep bringing that fucking energy. Fuck that shit. We ain't going quietly into the night, my friends. That ain't how it's gonna happen. So good job. Keep speaking up. Keep speaking out. Keep protesting. Keep fighting. Like, that's the way to do it. You know what? You know what? You know what? We're on a roll. We're on a roll. We did Kyle. Then we did Mike. Now here comes Hank. Here comes Hank. Right here. All right? So here we go. We're going to do Hank now. These guys attacked the Democrats constantly during the 2024 campaign. Didn't say how much worse fell in 47. Yeah, I agree with that, Mountain Bike. Let's go Big Me for this lesson. What Mountain Bike just said. AG, these guys attacked the Democrats constantly during the 2024 campaign and didn't say how much worse Felon 47 would be that I know of. 100% agree, except for Hank. I don't think Hank was one of those people. So, this is what I say, Mountain Bike, right? Is that I disagree with the way that Kyle Kulinski and Mike and other people that are really, really hardcore progressive went about the way that they spoke before the 2024 election. I disagree with them, but I also accept that we have the same fundamental values, and that even though we would argue and disagree on that statement between me and Kyle and Mike, that does not mean that I do not support the other things that they do. So in no way do I agree with how they went about talking about Trump versus Biden or Trump versus Kamala, right? I don't agree with it. I think that they were not helpful. I think that they could have even been hurtful and negative to the cause. But I refuse to be the person on the left that continues to fracture the left by saying that a person can't have other things that they do or say that I agree with, and that everything that they say is wrong because I disagreed with something they did. I think that that's a huge problem in the left, and I think it's something that has to be fixed. We have to be able to disagree sometimes on things that we find very important. Now, do I think that like Mike or Kyle should speak up and say, you know, hey, like, this is worse, and I was part of the problem, and maybe I did have a negative impact on that. I think that would be helpful to people like yourself that saw them as being negative. I think it would be helpful in helping bring people in to the cause. But that's not my job to currently. It's not my job currently to make that happen. I think that, but I do think that would be helpful for people if they would do that. Yeah. So yeah, y'all are fierce tonight, Troy. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed the shit that's going on in this country right now, my friend. Maybe you just haven't noticed. You think people are fierce? They should be fucking fierce. I'm telling these people this whole fucking show that they need to fucking fight. It's time to fight. It is time to fight. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Mountain Bike. I do not disagree with that statement or your earlier statement. I agree with all of that. Yeah, stop the coulda, shoulda, woulda, everything. It's not provable. Just like Dinky saying if he was posed, this or would or wouldn't have happened. Yeah, we don't need to fight about it, right? Like I said, would it be helpful for somebody to come out and say, you know, hey, you know, we were wrong about this. But that's not really what we should be concentrating on now. That's like fucking Jake Tapper coming out with that Biden book, right? Like I was telling people at the beginning of all this shit. Biden's old. Stop acting like he isn't. You know, anytime that you say Biden isn't old, we look dumb, right? And that was before all this shit. But I said, like, you have to make the argument, as Mountain Bike said, he, like a warm fucking dookie, is a better president than Donald Trump. Okay? So Biden definitely is. But also, like, prove that Biden was a better president. I can do it. I did it for a fucking year and a half straight of proving over and over again that Joe Biden's administration was 100 times better than Donald Trump's was. And then when Kamala Harris became the candidate for the Democrats, I spent the next 6 months proving that she was a better candidate than Donald Trump was. And that's what we have to be able to do. That's what we have to be able to do. So let's watch, here we go. Let's go down into this. Gotta push my buttons. Push my buttons. Okay. So, this is Hank. If you guys don't know who Hank is, Hank generally does, like, science videos. Hank does kind of a lot of different videos. I really like Hank. Hank's a really intelligent person. I believe he has a brother, and they do a vlog together. Hank Green, I think is his name. But I love Hank. And recently, Hank, though he usually does a lot of science videos and other types of videos, has been talking a bit about politics. You know why? Because we're all fucking tired of this shit. We're all tired of fucking Trump. We want the dude to just go the fuck away. Find a shallow puddle, dog. Swim in it. Dive deep. Take a big jump off a high fucking building into a shallow fucking puddle. Just do me that favor. Because we're all fucking tired of this, and so is Hank. So let's hear what Hank has to say about this.
Destroying our ability.
Oh, what was that? What? Wrong video. Play pause button.
Very angry right now, and it's not for the reason that you would think. A good person would be angry right now because a bunch of people are being deported from the country without due process. When they accidentally deport American citizens, they laugh that off as if maybe these American citizens don't count as American citizens for some reason that isn't to do specifically with the law, but maybe some other way in which these people don't really count as Americans. That's in there, in the hidden part of my anger iceberg. There's a part of it that is simply these people are being treated in ways that is un-American and that we should not accept. But if we're going to be honest with ourselves, and I'm going to be honest with myself, the biggest source of my anger here is that strategically, this is going to fucking work. It is a series of strategic decisions that do an excellent job of degrading America while putting more power in the hands of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Yep.
And I mentioned J.D. Vance here because I think...
Yes! Come on, my brother! Please tell me that Hank is going to talk about techno-feudalism. Hank, you're a smart dude. Please, my dude. My dude. Hank, come through for me, brother. Come through for me. We got Legia. Legia Miller is on the fucking... She understands. We've got a couple. We got a couple people with fucking brains that have figured this shit out. Please, Hank. Please, Hank. Please, come through for me, buddy. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, Hank.
Think decisions that do an excellent job of degrading America while putting more power in the hands of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. And I mentioned J.D. Vance here because I think in many ways he loves this and is good at it. Now, Trump is also good at it. This is like the thing that they are the best at, is finding the rifts in American society and widening them in order to exploit them. So I'm not going to talk about whether I think like immigration has largely been good or bad for America. I mean, it's been largely good. You don't have to believe that to keep watching this video. So here's what happened. If we take the 30,000-foot view and stop looking at like each individual news story as it comes out, here's the broader context. During the administration of the last president, who was a more liberal president, there was a lot of immigration. There were a lot of refugees or people who might be refugees who he said, yes, come into the country. And then we'll slowly, because we don't have a lot of capacity for it, run you through the process of deciding whether or not you're a legitimate refugee and you stay in the country. I think there was a lot of problems with this way of doing things. It feels to me like fixing this or handling it or communicating it well was not on Joe Biden's list of priorities. We could talk about why that might have been. Maybe he was too old to be running the country, but hey, all right, now the liberals are mad at me. Come at me. I'm not going to pretend like I don't feel that I was betrayed by all of the people who were involved in the decision to have Joe Biden run for president a second time. Whatever. You could be mad at me. It was a huge failure. So yeah, you got that, and it's going to be a weakness. It's going to be a way for the right-wing party, who's traditionally anti-immigrant, to come at people and tell stories that are bad. Let's actually look at J.D. Vance talking about this recently with Ross Douthat.
I really do think that social solidarity is destroyed when you have too much migration too quickly. And so that's not...
Dude, he's such a weird fucking looking dude. You can't tell me that ain't a pound of makeup, dog. You think he's a robot? Okay, so you know that Donald Trump said Joe Biden was a robot. It's always every accusation is a confession. Because the more I look at J.D. Vance, the more I'm like, that's AI. I'm like, that's a skin suit.
Because I hate the migrants or I'm motivated by grievance. That's because I'm trying to preserve something in my own country where we are a unified nation.
So social solidarity can be destroyed when you have too much migration too quickly, is a thing that he thinks. And so you might then wonder at some of the mechanisms by which that occurs. And one of those might be a president and vice presidential candidate running for office talking about how Haitian immigrants eat pets. Publicly.
Wait, did they say that? Did they say that? I mean, I can't remember.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
Yeah, I guess they did say that. I guess they also said this.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black.
Yeah, so there you go. There you go.
Frequently in the middle of an election.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Would that be one of the mechanisms by which social solidarity is decreased when there's too much immigration? Is it the immigration that is the problem, J.D. Vance? Or is it perhaps instead that you, a politician, one of the most powerful men in the country, are very happy to use it as a wedge issue to get more attention, to control the narrative, and to get yourself more power? Is that something that we need to like price?
P-word. P-word is female genitalia.
Into immigration? Like, hey, just so you know, we can't do too much immigration. Otherwise, assholes like me are going to use it as a wedge issue, tearing to some extent at the fabric of the country while making Americans afraid of people who are working here legally, trying to better themselves and the country so that they can themselves become American citizens, which is a story as old as America. It's just the kind of dishonesty that makes me very upset because he never says that he thinks immigrants are bad. In
Cajun said, this man's room is getting my OCD worked up. Oh, that shit is real. Poor Hank, dude. Look, he's got a lot of hobbies, okay? Hank's got a lot of hobbies, okay?
This interview, but just a story as old as America. It's just the kind of dishonesty that makes me very upset because he never says that he thinks immigrants are bad in this interview, but then he will absolutely go on Twitter and say that Haitian immigrants are eating people's pets.
Yeah, because what these guys do, and we know this, but the cult members don't understand this, is that these guys are master manipulators. They are master con men. And that's the reason that these tech oligarchs need J.D. Vance. It's why Peter Thiel needs J.D. Vance. It's why Mark Andreessen, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos need Donald Trump. There's this, I should find this video. There's a short of a speech from Peter Thiel where he says, like, we'll never get the votes, being who we are, being tech oligarchs, pretty much is what he's saying. We'll never get the votes. So we have to find a way to get those votes in a different way. And so what they did was they found these two fucking clowns. They found fucking eyeliner JD Vance fucking a couch out in a parking lot. And they're like, yo, you want to like do some drugs and then maybe run for vice president of the United States? And JD was like, as soon as I get done with this cushion, I'm almost done. And they found Donald Trump somewhere in Florida drinking swamp water while getting pegged by some dude wearing a MAGA hat. And they're like, yo, Orange Clown Boy, you want to run for president? And he was like, probably right after this guy finishes. And that's how we came to where we are today. I know you guys might not know that origin story, but now you do. So, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, look. I'm just saying there's probably a fucking website somewhere out there with some fucking Donald Trump JD fan fiction, and I guarantee those stories exist, all right? They need these people to get in. And so what these MAGA fucking cult members don't understand is that in a CNN interview, it's like, look, the immigrants, I'm just saying, culturally, they don't work with the rest of America, and they cause a lot of problems, and then that leads to just unrest in our civilization. And then when they got on Twitter, they're like, yeehaw, motherfucker, immigrants are bad fucking beaners, you know what I'm saying, brother? And the MAGA people are like, oh my God, yes, that's exactly what we need. I'll jerk off to that tweet. They're master fucking manipulators.
And then when that turns, he never says that he thinks immigrants are bad in this interview, but then he will absolutely go on Twitter and say that Haitian immigrants are eating people's pets. And then when that turns out not to have happened, they just move on and ignore it because the point is the narrative, it isn't truth. Anyway, that's a part of my anger here, is the dishonesty and the mealy-mouthed BS that these people get away with. But the bigger piece, the real reason for my anger, is that strategically, this is gonna work. And here's the strategy. First, do deportations, but do it in a way where you have the least possible regard for people's humanity and also their rights.
Yep.
So suspend due process. Say illegal immigrants don't get due process. Now, how do you determine whether they are illegal immigrants in that process? I don't know, because you're not doing due process.
Yeah, and so this is why I've said this, that like the more humane lefties that are in here than myself, like this is probably a place where Kyle Kulinski or Mike would fucking roast me, is when we talk about Kilmar Garcia being brought back to America, a lot of people are going to say that's a good thing because he's a good person and he's a father and, you know, like all this stuff matters. That's not why I care. I'll be honest with you guys. Why I care about Kilmar coming back to America is because the precedent for removing people from this country without due process would be horrific to set. If you set the precedent that you can remove people from this country because somebody didn't like them or thought that they were a criminal, that can't happen. It's just like I said about the military being used in American cities. That precedent cannot be set. And this government is over and over again attempting to set these precedents because they want to overstep those lines. They want to take it further and further. They want to limit test how far our society will let them go before we stand the fuck up and say, I don't think so. So, though, I don't know Kilmar Garcia from fucking Robert Garcia. I don't know another famous Garcia right now off the top of my head. Okay? Guys, don't judge me. But I don't know if he's a good person. I don't know if he's a bad person. I don't really fucking care, to be honest with you. What I care about is that he gets due process because that's important in this country. And I don't give a shit if he actually was a bad person that did bad things. He deserves due process. And if he's a good person that didn't do bad things, then it makes it 10 times fucking worse, and it makes it even more likely that I'm right about what these people are doing. So, This is the kind of shit that like I said, we can't be allowing these things. And the reason that Kilmar Garcia is coming back to this country is because of you guys. Because you guys said, we see what you're doing. We're going to record it. We're going to share it with our friends. We're going to talk about it loudly. And you're not going to fucking get away with this. And because of you guys, due process is getting its day in court. Ironically.
Accidentally deport American citizens. What do you do in that situation? You laugh about it. When the Supreme Court tells you have to bring those people back, tell them
Jerry Garcia.
Not so sure about that. Kick off a little constitutional crisis. Every step along the way, do things that are like just illegal enough and just immoral enough that many people will feel that there is no alternative but to protest in force. Not only protest to make their voices heard, but to literally try and stop law enforcement and ICE from doing what they have been told to do. At which point you have a rule of law problem. Can the person who has been told to do something in the chain of command not do their job because there's a person in front of them? At that point you have that conflict, and you're very, very close at that point to a riot. You do your best to be as immoral and illegal about it as possible, to make it so that many people believe that the right thing to do is to stop an ICE agent from doing what they have been told to do. So you have two people who feel that it is their obligation to do opposite things in a physical space, and so you have actual conflict and that erupts in violence. Now, people will say,
Yep, right there. What he just said. You create this completely immoral situation where people have to stand up against it, and then you use it against them. And that's what they're doing right now. That's why we're saying this. You create this situation with protests where a person is going to do what they feel is the right thing to do. That morally, if they don't do something about it, that they're not a good person and they don't stand 10 toes down on what they believe. And you put them against a person that doesn't feel as though they have the choice to do what they choice not to do, what they're told to do. And you create a situation that creates this chaos. This is what I've been saying this entire time, is that this administration, like the whole idea of getting more money, like Elon Musk doesn't need more money. Even Donald Trump probably doesn't need more money, but most likely he does. Most likely Donald does. More importantly, these people want power. They want authority over people. They want to push things into a place where they can more easily control people. And the easiest way to control people is to create chaos, to create polarization, and then use their authority to manipulate people underneath that don't want to anymore be responsible for the actions that they take. So you take an ICE agent that is deporting a child and you convince him that, hey, you shouldn't think about this. Because the more you think about it, the worse it's going to be for you. So just don't think about it and just do it. And the more you can vilify the people that are standing up and saying this is immoral, the easier it is for that person to make that decision. So the easier it is to get somebody to not think about something, the easier it is to control what they're doing. And that's what these people want. They want to, part and parcel, break up the United States into techno fiefdoms, where each one of these people get to have their own ability. And mind you, this is figurative, right? Like this isn't a sci-fi book like the one I'm writing, where it's going to actually be like fiefdoms. No, it's figurative. You're not going to know that these fuckers are doing what they're doing in these states. You're just going to go, wow, Alabama used to be pretty racist, but now it's nothing but racist. That's crazy. And you go, wow, the Bible Belt used to be really fucking Bible-y, but now it's really Bible-rific. And you're going to be like, wow, Silicon Valley used to have a lot of tech people there with a lot of influence. And holy fuck, they're making all the rules in California now. That's what I mean. Is they want people to fracture, they want them easy to control, and then they want you to not question who's making the rules. Because if you're not questioning who's making the rules, if you're not standing up for yourself, if you're not fighting for what you think is morally right, then they get to do whatever the fuck they want.
People who feel that it is their obligation to do opposite things in a physical space, and so you have actual conflict and that erupts in violence. Now, people will say they could just do it non-violently, just put on suits and march through the streets, but if you think that these policies and the suspension of due process is illegal, which, by the way, the Supreme Court does too, then it makes sense that you might physically try and stop a person who thinks they are enforcing the law from breaking the law. This is a situation that inevitably will create conflict, and in my opinion, this is a situation that is intended to create conflict. But here's what we now have. We have sides. Aww. You can be on the side that's seen this video, or you could be on the side that's seen this picture. And those are two different sides, and they love sides. This is strategically
I'm on the same side with both of those.
It is excellent. Control the narrative, look strong, have our opponents look like they're defending violence and attacks on the country. The strategy is very good, but you can only implement it if you don't care about the rules of the nation, which include due process. I'm editing this video and I need to pop in here because I keep saying due process. The Supreme Court says it's important. It's important. You can't not do it. But I'm not saying why, and I need to say why. Because if you can grab somebody off of the street and deport them without checking to see whether or not they are in this country legally, then that's just kidnapping. And so it makes sense to me, if that's literally what the president is saying he wants to do, that some people would try to physically stop ICE from implementing that policy. The way that the president of the United States talks about this makes it pretty clear to me that he just wants to pick people up off the street and send them away
100%.
Without checking to see whether or not they are here legally or whether or not they are American citizens. And I'll let you listen to what he has to say on this topic yourself.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't.
Bro, when Trump talks, I just hear "I love lamp." I hear lamp.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Dude, you don't know? You don't know? You fucking moron! You don't know?
No.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know. It's no.
Everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know. It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers and some of the worst people.
And a lot of them are fucking American citizens, you fucking goddamn moron. Oh my God!
On Earth, but some of the worst, most dangerous people on Earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
I'm a little sick of being like, what's the Constitution say? And not, why does the Constitution say what it says? So I think it's important to say, if you don't have to have a process by which you deport someone, you can deport anyone. And that's not deportation. It's a blank check for doing whatever you want to anyone in this country.
Good job,
it's the
Hank.
kind of thing that if it were being suggested by a Democrat would be seen immediately for what a lot of people are afraid it is in this case, which is just a way to attack anyone you don't like in such an extreme manner that many people will simply stop criticizing this administration at all. I just think we need to take a step back and remember why we have laws in this country. It's not because somebody wrote it down. It's because they were good ideas. It is a good idea to not let the government punish someone without checking to see whether they did a crime first. And
yeah, and for anybody, for MAGA, this should, I mean, maybe not help you understand, because I doubt that you could fucking understand anything anymore. You're so fucking brainwashed. Think of it this way. If the left were to do the same thing, and they were to say the Aryan Nation is a domestic terrorist organization, which it is, and so we're going to start deporting these Aryan Brotherhood people to countries that will accept them, like El Salvador or SICA, right? So we're going to start because they're violent, they're criminals, so they should be. And I said, I approve. I like that. I fucking hate skinheads. I hate racists. I hate garbage ass white people that think they're better than everybody else because they're white. And that's the only fucking reason. As though it's some kind of weird fucking color game that we're playing that makes one person better than the other because of pigment in their skin. Or how much sun that they can fucking absorb and how fast. But if I did that, and all of a sudden, people said, bald white men with beards that have at least one tattoo are skinheads and should be sent to CCOT. That could happen to me because I fit that description. Do you see how that would be bad? Do you see how that would be stupid of me to be like, yeah, fuck their due process. Fucking send them to CCOT. Because I would be next. Or I could possibly be next. And let's just say that at the time, I was in the good graces of Democrats. And I was like, you know what? I feel like they'll never deport me. So I can talk as much shit as I want. And then I cross the line, and one day somebody shows up at my house and drags me the fuck out and sends me to CCOT. Yeah, that's because my dumb ass applauded people that I didn't like not getting due process. And that's why if you're a MAGA supporter and you don't think that people should get due process, you're a fucking moron. Because one day, it could be you. One day it could be your wife. One day it could be your friend. One day it could be your employer. You're like, I got this good job and, you know, things are going well, and then they fucking deported Enrique. Whole goddamn place shut down. Now I ain't got a job. What's my sister wife going to say about this when I get home? She can be real mad. And my daughter niece is also going to be upset as well because, you know, she talked about maybe graduating from 6th grade. I can't afford that. That's why give me $5. I can afford something now. I can afford things. No, don't ban me. This is how it works. You get due process, okay? You get due process here in the Angry Ginger chat, okay?
Yet they seem to be trying to build this case that the courts are somehow this new problem. They are standing in the way of what the president legally should be able to do. J.D. Vance keeps getting up on stages and saying that, like, the courts are stopping the president from doing what he is constitutionally bound to do. And I'm like, you haven't read the document, my guy. What do you mean? The Supreme Court is the one responsible for enforcing the document, not the president. That's how we set it up. Balance of powers is good, and one person having all the power.
I keep saying this shit was like strategically made to upset me. Me and Hank are on the same vibe right now, brother. Say wavelength. I can't say brother right now. That'll get me deported. Actually, that probably give me a place in the administration. I should probably say brother more often. Brother. It's like it was strategically made to fucking upset me. Because you can do shit in a certain way, and if I can tell why you're doing it, and it's all like set up, like I'm like, fuck, that's like actually really good. I hate it, but I understand it, and I can like fucking fight against it. But when the administration operates off like 97% stupidity and like 3% kind of a really shitty plan, it drives me up a wall because I'm like, how the fuck can nobody see that this shit is what's happening? It's fucking, like, I keep saying this over and over again to everybody I talk to about this. Is just like, the thing that upsets me the most about all of this shit is how people are just like, well, I don't know why it's bad. I mean, they're getting rid of murderers, that these illegals, the illegals. My husband, brother, told me that that's a good thing. And that, you know, the Mexicans, when they came and ate our chinchillas and our rats, because, you know, that's what they do, like the Haitians that can't drive, okay? Like, pretty much anybody that isn't white seems like they're bad people. That's what Bill said. Like, that shit I can't do. I'm like, there's no way you're real. Like, I want to believe that the people are fucking smarter, but they're not. They're actually just, there's a lot of fucking dumb people out there. And they're like, I just like being hateful. I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Power is bad because that's a king, and there should not be kings. Sorry. That's how we started this out, man. I know you've been reading all that Curtis Yarvin. You think maybe monarchy is cool now?
Yes! Hank! He said the name. Hank. It took him a while. almost 10 minutes. Tell me you know about Curtis Yarvin, Hank. Tell me you know, buddy. Ate my chinchillas.
But it's not. That's not what we did. I still believe in this country, and I know a lot of you people watching this don't anymore. I still believe in this country, and when you do this shit, it makes me believe in it less. Like, eventually, I won't anymore. And that's makes me fucking mad. And because it's a good strategy, one thing I know, as a strategist, you don't stop pushing good strategy until it stops being good strategy. And so I don't see any reason why they would stop doing this. Because they want riots. They want violence. They want conflict. They want deeper rifts in society. That's the goal. And so, of course, they're going to keep doing this. And they will do what they can to make it more inflammatory so that people are more likely to protest and more likely to have those conflicts that result in outbreaks of violence. I love LA, man. I used to hate LA, but I love LA. Like, I came around eventually. There's good people there. It's a big city.
It's the culture that makes Los Angeles so fucking amazing. Like, it's an ugly ass city. I'll be honest with you. It's dirty. It's industrial. It has its nicer parts, but it's just like Bakersfield on steroids. It really is. It's like Bakersfield is to Los Angeles as Reno is to Las Vegas, right? But that's what I loved about living in Bakersfield. There wasn't a lot, but what I did was the culture. And one of the things I miss about where I live now is the culture. Having these people from different places that speak different languages, that have different traditions and history, people that came from other countries that can fucking tell you stories that like will blow your mind about like the things that they had been through. That's what makes Los Angeles such a beautiful city, is that for all of its like ugliness, for all of its like its polarization and, you know, its crime, its gangs, all that shit, like, it's a place that has so many fucking stories, man. So many stories. And it makes it beautiful. It really does. And that's why they're fighting. And that's why I love LA.
Big, diverse city. Crazy number of people. I live in Montana. We have like 10 times fewer people in our whole state. I got a fair number of Fox News viewers in my life, and they think that LA is, they're like scared for me when I go to LA. This is, of course, ludicrous, but being able to push this narrative is going to make them so scared, and Los Angeles was the right place to do it. But it won't be the last place. I just feel like this is so good for them that they will do it wherever they can. Because when the Constitution doesn't matter to you, when people's rights don't matter to you, that's really scary, because that means that theoretically anyone, but we all know why I feel safe and other people don't. Theoretically, though, anyone could be deported and then it accidentally turns out that was an American citizen. I'm not worried about that. Why? Let's ask ourselves why. We know why. I count as an American for some reason that you can articulate.
I don't know if Hank believes what he just said.
Whereas another American citizen might feel like less of an American to some people. If you don't care about that stuff, or I think even maybe more fundamentally, you don't care about the country holding itself together to progress toward a better future, and you're more interested in fanning flames and deepening rifts and taking advantage.
Yep, because they like to fight, dude. Like I said, people in America are so fucking entitled that we have grown into this culture that we don't have purpose. We don't have reasons for being here anymore. And so these people's reason for existing is trolling the libs, making the libs cry. They don't care if the whole country burns down around them while they do it. All they give a shit about is having like some sense of purpose for like 5 minutes in their lives before they go back to having sister, wife, brother, husband sex, which apparently they really like because they do it a lot and they breed a lot, and there's a lot of nephew sons and daughter nieces out there.
Of people's fear. This is a great strategy, and I am angry because ultimately, deeply, even more than anything about the future of America, and like, just to be totally honest here, like, there's a component of jealousy to my anger, because this is strategically a great move, and I'm just
bro, I love that. There's a little bit of jealousy to my anger. Like, that's how I feel when I think about being a MAGA cult supporter. Like, I actually envy them. I'm like, if I could just be that stupid, if I could just like sit here for 5 seconds and just be like, just turn it off, and just be like, fuck it, who cares? Like I just want to follow my follow my cult leader and whatever the fuck he says. Like that's what's good. That's what I'll do. That's what I'm fine with. Fuck it. Like there is definitely some envy to that. That I'm like, God damn it, man, if I could just be a sheep, if I could just turn off my brain and stop thinking and just join the fucking cult and just be like, hell yeah, fuck that, man. Yeah, we got him. Like, there is some jealousy there.
Fellas, that people who I think would do a better job of leading the country don't have access to a move like this and also don't have a counter move that works well against it. The thing that I keep coming down to is like over and over is that like maybe there's a strategy here where we just keep reminding people that what these people want is for Americans to be more afraid of each other and of their world. And they want Americans to be on sides.
I would believe
they want to create more sides so that they can exploit that conflict. And that just does so much damage to the country. They just don't care how much they hurt the country as long as it brings them a little more power. There's like this guy on Twitter who talks about like men's clothing and he makes fun of conservatives sometimes. They call him the menswear guy. And this person says, the menswear guy just openly admitted on here that he's in America illegally. JD Vance, I know you're reading this and you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. We got Jack Nicholson nodding yes here. I just never know. And this is part of the strategy. I never know if he's like, yes, I will absolutely use the power of the federal government to go after my enemies specifically, or if he's just making a cute little joke on Twitter. And I think that's part of like why when he posts things like this, he gets to like have a little giggle to himself because he knows we don't know. Only he knows. And that's a special kind of power that he gets to have as the vice president of the United States. And I'm sure in his mind, the future president. If we let that happen. To wrap up my wrap up here, it is 24 hours after I recorded that video, and I'm feeling a little bit of less certainty about whether or not this strategy is as good as they think it is. I don't know if it is possible to show the peaceful elements of this protest enough that it breaks through to like the sort of middle. It certainly isn't going to reach the people who are like only inside of the Fox News ecosystem, but like maybe it can reach a lot of other people with
the 24 hours later Hank. Like, this should happen in all his videos. So I've been thinking about my video for 24 hours, and I've decided to come back and talk about what I think about it now. I've changed my mind.
Reality that there's a lot of grandmas here, there's a lot of peaceful protesting here, and also there's a really legitimate thing to be protesting here. I saw a video on TikTok from a young man that I'm going to put in the description that if you have watched this video all the way through, I really think you should finish this content viewing session with his video. I'll try and find it more than just on TikTok because I know not everybody has TikTok, but oftentimes you can watch TikToks even if you don't have the app. I was feeling really hopeless yesterday. That was part of my anger. And watching his video reminded me that this is part of the thing that we're doing right now. Like, this is going to be a long process of Donald Trump being president and doing his best to accumulate more and more power. Is this particular issue going to be one that he's winning on for the most part for a while? Probably. But the deeper story here is actually compelling, and I think has an advantage in that it also is the truth. So watch this young man's video. I learned quite a bit from it. It's linked in the description.
Let's see what it is. Let's see what Hank's trying to get us to watch. Maybe that's what we'll finish with. Let's watch this. I don't go on the TikToks. Hold on, TikToks. Let's watch this young man's video. Wait. Okay. How do I operate the TikToks, guys? I need help. Shit. Doc Mac, 8 months. Read page 555 of Project 2025. It's happening now. Fucking all of the pages are happening now, but yes. Are we talking about the Insurrection Act part? Or are we talking about the martial law part? I don't know if that's page 555, but that's the part we're in right now. All right. We're going to watch this video from this guy. Somebody help me with the TikToks.
These are LA's win conditions. That's it. So any municipal breakaways, Glendale just canceled its ICE contract. That's precedent because every city that follows turns protests into a policy cascade. So the goal is just to turn LA into the first domino, and it puts public pressure on Santa Ana, Long Beach, etc. to follow suit. The second win condition is any public moral awakening.
So that's what I was wondering about that, because I saw that earlier today. I saw earlier that one of the cities had canceled their contract with ICE, and I was like, I wonder what that does. Just so you guys know, too, just so I'm not just sharing this guy's video, it's Cypher.J is his name, Justin Scott. Or Justin Scott's his name, it looks like Cypher.J is his handle. And here, let's put his TikTok in the chat, so that way he gets some more followers. But I did see that. I saw that about the city, and I was wondering about that. So that's pretty good that he brought that up.
And it puts public pressure on Santa Ana, Long Beach, etc. to follow suit. The second win condition is any public moral awakening. NPR, Time, they're finally portraying protesters as concerned citizens and not just rioters. The goal is just to keep centering family stories, detain workers, union arrests, and make the morality too heavy to ignore, because the public is starting to distinguish between federal cruelty and local compassion. The third win condition is lawsuits and oversight. So California's AG, their Attorney General Rob Bonta just sued over unauthorized federal enforcement, right? Back this lawsuit with mass mobilization. This turns any narrative into legal leverage, but also cross-city solidarity. So San Francisco, Chicago, Boston, Houston, they all had their spin-off protests. If a synchronizing message emerges out of this, 5 to 7 cities chanting the same demand at the same time, it'll overwhelm the federal media control immediately. But there's key risks. And we're going to go through those too. There is currently no unified demand. In the raids is vague. That is not going to work. Protect sanctuary cities by law. That's a little better. Abolish ICE is polarizing. We need to be concerned about the message. Movements without demands become media spectacles without memory.
That's actually a great point. He's got a fucking amazing point there, because the defund the police thing was one of the perfect examples of that. Like, something really good could have came and started to, because of Biden. Biden did start the ball rolling in that direction, but of course Trump definitely pushed it back into the position it was that from the Floyd protests, Black Lives Matter's protests, the idea of defunding the police, when understood as it was correct. And that was that police officers need more training. Police officers need mental health specialists to go with them when dealing with mental health issues. Police officers shouldn't be given, gigantic fucking riot truck vehicles in a small town when that money could be used for like community outreach. And in a couple different ways, there were mistakes made on both sides. Well, the right did it on purpose. The right used it to say, look, they're saying get rid of cops, that they don't need cops, that we're just going to fucking just do it, and, crime's legal. That's pretty much what they were trying to say. And then certain people on the left also didn't fucking understand what the fuck they were talking about, and actually repeated stupid shit like that, where they were like, yeah, fuck cops, we just won't have any cops at all. And I'm like, there's like 3 of them, but unfortunately when there's like 3 dumbasses in your party, they stick out like a sore thumb, and that shit comes off really badly, and then that's the clip that gets circulated, right? That's the clip that constantly gets circulated from that point on, is the one fucking moron that's like, yeah, we're just going to get rid of the police altogether. Obviously, if you get rid of the police, you're just going to replace them with something that resembles the police. So the better idea would be to, remove the funding from what they're currently using it for and put it in better places. So he's actually got a really good point there, that they have to be very careful with what they claim the narrative of their movement in this area is, because as we know, when you look at MAGA supporters, 3 short grunts works. Stop the steal. 4 more years. Lock her up. You got to have the right fucking 3 grunts to get people on fucking board. Defund the police, too many syllables. People start analyzing it, trying to figure it out. He's actually got a great point.
Any rally Any rally that is behind winnable ass, like emergency citywide ICE moratorium, that's a way to fix that. That's the way to rally behind that, because that's something better to say than in the raids. Emergency citywide ICE moratorium. See what I mean?
A little too wordy.
To get that narrative together.
A little too wordy. We'll work on that.
Violent optics do persist. Like really bad. Burning cars, highway blocks, tactical gear versus flag bearers. The medium turns the just cause into a chaotic image of fear and disruption. So visual peace with narrative cohesion is necessary, right? Narrative precision, visual peace, protest art.
Okay, this fucker's gonna try and convert me. All right, stop trying to convert me, Justin. He's doing a good job. Okay, I'm going to disagree though. I've got to stand my ground. I still believe that you can say nice things all you want, but if the boot's on your neck, dude, peace ain't gonna get it done. So I hear what he's saying. I even would take it a step further and say that I've seen photographers on the ground, like social media influencers and stuff, taking pictures. Those people should be taking pictures of the peaceful protest and combat against the narrative of it all being violent. But what I will disagree with is that if there is no forward momentum of a peaceful protest, then you are going to have people that are going to become frustrated, and to demean them or criticize them for fighting against fascists. Like, I can't do that. I will not do that. I will support people in their right to defend themselves and the people that they love against anybody. Cop, military, National Guard, another civilian, whatever. Because I would expect to be supported if somebody were to harm one of my family members, one of my friends, one of the people I love, and I were to defend them physically. I would expect your support. So I can't quite get with that message.
Grandmothers on the front lines, cultural symbols of peace. There's a way things need to look. This is what I mean by the narrative warfare. But here's another thing. So Trump framed the protest before the protest framing itself is a major risk. He's already calling it an uprising, open border insurrection.
Yep.
So they see that as a test of strength, not justice. So if the story is about control, he wins. So the only way out of that kind of thing is to reclaim the stage, publicly framing it as a moral emergency, not even a political one. Turn this into the next George Floyd level infliction by showing its human stakes, legal violations, and constitutional breach. Now here's one of those things I want to say to black people. Our grief has already been militarized. They've already targeted us enough. We don't need to send our support, like physically, on the ground. No. But they will come for us with this method. This is very key to watch. Very key to watch and to document. Please pay attention here. This is not, like, even though the stay out of it side is what I agree on, it is important to document what their tactics look like. It really is. But here's the other risk. Any type of movement fragmentation. Because without visible leadership or a unified communication, even internal allies are unsure what just even comes next out of this. So local energy won't translate into national momentum.
Yeah, that's good. That I agree with 100%. Is the left is always too fractured. You guys know this because I said this just recently, and I've been saying it for months. Is the left doesn't have a singular voice. They don't have an MLK. They don't have a JFK. They don't have an idea. He's actually talking about a lot of things that I've already talked about. The civil rights movement had a focus. MLK speaking to it and being a leader and keeping people unified and connected gave them purpose. I mean, really what he's saying here, and I get the stay out thing from the African American community, and I get that they've shown up for a lot, but I don't agree with the stay out. I don't agree with that. I'm going to continue to disagree with people staying out regardless. I don't think this should be about race. I don't think this should be about gender. I think it should be about being human, and I think we should all stand up against this. I get why this young man is saying the things he is saying about staying out of it, and believe me, a fucking
100% support this dude. I understand. I was there. I punched Nazis in the face, dog. I know what you're talking about. But like, I think everybody's got to show up. I don't think that we got a choice here. I don't think it's time to fracture and say these people do this or only these people do that. These people have given too much. These people haven't given enough. 100%. I've seen those voting rolls. I know African Americans showed up for Biden. I know they showed up for Kamala. And I know that white people did not show up for Kamala. And that's fucking sad. But now's not the time to fracture. I say we all show up. We all do our thing. We all make sure that this shit doesn't continue.
A rotating
What's happening, Manny?
Like faith leaders, union reps, dreamers, just any morning
I am not
brief.
Watching the basketball.
Just open
game
up.
right now.
You don't
I've
need permission. Just open up in the morning, just talking about the situation yourself. It doesn't even matter if it has views. We need documentation. That's the big thing. This literally needs to be psychological jujitsu. We need to use their
like
spectacle against them, humanize faster than they can militarize, and render the invisible visible in this case. The messaging needs to be a lot stronger, because they need to be like, we're not radicals. We are mothers, workers, neighbors, trying to protect our homes from the federal aggression.
Okay.
And you don't need to agree with our politics to see that our humanity is being violated. That's real. That's real, right? Because we need to stay in an anchor place. This is about LA, not DC. Okay, emotion over ideology. Center immigrant stories, children's drawings, elders testifying, and literally frame ICE as an uninvited foreign force in a city that never gave consent. We're at war with the camera. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to get. I'm trying to get y'all to get.
He's a very good thinker.
It has nothing to do with anything going on over there. It's not even in the best spot. Like the whole riot. Not even in the best spot. But the camera's vulnerable. So, any public altars for detained families, candlelight visuals overpowering riot gear, important. Any mothers in prayer circles versus soldiers, a haunting inversion, important. Any legal observers in neon vests, non-violence made hypervisible, important. Drone footage of peaceful marchers being surrounded to trap the state in its own excess. That's the way to do this, right?
Okay.
The thing is that people got to understand that we also have to have a refusal to flinch. So his whole game is to escalate until we react destructively. That's basically the whole game. So win at this game. Discipline silence at tense moments. Refusing to chant when cameras arrive. Making protesters look more trustworthy than the people in uniform. All of that actually matters in causing a narrative breakthrough. See, but this is what victory conditions actually look like. And it's not going to be found in the cheering. No, nothing like that. But this is my scorecard on the event. It's a very tangible one. I would give it. This is not the most ideal event ever. It's just enough energy behind it to get it cooking. I would literally give it like a 4 out of 10. But the camera is vulnerable, and that's the aim. That's the aim. Any Democrat that's been looking for, or a leftist that's been looking for an angle at this whole thing, the camera is the most vulnerable it's ever been. And I hope that y'all have a great time with it. This is literally, I'm talking about, if you like the shit posters. The shit posters. This is your day. Like, you could have a ball here.
My man, Jesus Christ, my dude, like that's the voices you need. Those are the people that you need talking. Like, Gavin Newsome needs to see this young man's video, like you can't win wars without great leaders. You can't have movements that matter without great leaders. And that young man, and I'm calling him a young man because I'm an old man. I don't know how old he is. But he speaks very coherently to what needs to be done. And that's what I keep saying is, like, I think a lot of people out there think that they can't do anything about what's going on. And that's wrong. Like, you're wrong. You're doing something about it by speaking out. You're doing something about it by, like, being available to people that want to hear your voice. You're doing something about it by not being silent, by continuing to think logically about how to fix the situation. So somebody's got to get Gavin Newsome that video of that guy, because that's a very, very good video. And like I said, You guys have heard me talk this whole night. You've heard me be very aggressive and confrontational about how I think that things should be done. And that gentleman has a different point of view. And that's good. That's what it should be. We should be able to have democracy of thought. We should be able to have people that say, I hear what you're saying, I like what you're saying, but can I suggest something different? Because without that democracy of thought, you don't have democracy. So, good on that kid. That's a great video, and I'm glad that Hank showed that video on a stream, or a video that will get millions of views, and that kid hopefully will get. I hope a lot of people made it to the end of that video. So, all right. If my old ass is old, you're really old. I'm old enough. I'm old enough. Old enough to know better. Isn't that what they say, Manny? Oh, Scott, what's up, Scott? Yeah. We need people with enthusiasm. Exactly, VD. We need people with enthusiasm. Yes. Yeah, I agree with that, Angela. But it's his moment. I agree with what you say about Newsome, but this is his moment. He can either do something with it or he can squander it. We're about to find out what happens. I don't like that shit either, what he did. But I don't like a lot of what people do. So I don't know. Sometimes I get really fucking upset with people, and I think I can never fucking forgive people for things. And then sometimes I think, every once in a while people deserve that path to redemption. So let's see some path to redemption. Let's see some people take advantage of that path to redemption and do something with it and do something good. Let's hope that people can do that. It's the only way we're getting out of this. All right. So I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow I'm actually going to be on this space, the YouTube channel. So if you guys want to see me tomorrow, let's see if we can find it one more time. See if anybody's on it right now. It's kind of late. Here it is.
Simply, they don't know
your old pal
how
Jake,
the word
Letterhack,
gets out
and
if it's
Andre
anything other than buying
Ravinsky right
commercials
here.
or there.
Here you guys go. You guys,
So
if you guys want somewhere to hang out for the last half hour or so,
popular thing. They'll say, we
go
see
check
all
these guys out.
kinds
I'm gonna
of
send you guys over there. Tell them that the
poll
Angry
well,
Ginger sent you.
And
go over there. Tell them the Angry
nobody
Ginger
comes
sent
out to
you.
vote for 'em. They only come out to vote when we buy
And
commercials.
yeah, I'm gonna be on there.
But it's only because the things
I'm gonna be
they
on there
are
tomorrow.
offering, they're asking what polls
At
the best
5 o'clock, so
for
my normal
a
time.
dinner out of the Ritz crackers.
Sorry, Jake. I'm going to be over there tomorrow at 5 o'clock on this channel for some back-to-back streaming time. So if you guys want to check me out tomorrow at 5 o'clock, hop on this space and turn on the notifications and stuff so you see it when I go live at 5, right after Pastor Benjamin Dixon. Couldn't ask for a better opening act. And I'm the closer, guys. I'm the closer. I finished the night, so I get to go as long as I want. So, yeah. I hope you guys can be there. I hope you guys go over there and raid this chat right now, this space, and tell them the Angry Ginger sent you. All right, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And don't forget.
Yeah, you effing with some wet-ass P-word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass P-word. Give me everything you got for this wet-ass P-word. P-word. P-word is female genitalia.
Who explained sexual harassment to you and me? Sexual harassment, panda.